The land of Atonica is much changed now that I, Moldark, reign supreme as a god. Lords and barons fight one another and murder mercilessly. I burn all that I see before me and bend the weak to my will. Not all is as it seems now. Meanwhile, in Berg, they attempt to stop me with their religion. They are fools. Welcome to the Broken Kingdom.
Everybody, and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will. I am your Dungeon Master and your host for tonight as we play the Broken Kingdom campaign. Once again, we are back. Hopefully we have a Josh coming through in a moment. He tells me he's not getting a call, which is wonderful, but we do have the rest of the guys. When that happened, for some reason...
I hate Skype. This is awful. Anyway,
how are you guys doing? It's good to see you. How are you guys in chat? What's up, Depth-Defying, Parking Seal? How's it going? Lee, Wolfman, Gareth, I guess. Thank you so much to Hitman2399 following. You are a gentleman and a scholar, so thank you so much. But we have the full cast here. Let's go round and remind ourselves who on earth we are, who we are playing tonight. So, on my right here, I see a Garen Stormforged. How are you, Finbar?
Hello! I'm Garen Stormforged. I only missed my cue because I was telling people off for commenting on my Skype photo. I'm well. It has been a long day. I overslept a little bit this morning, and there was a lot of panicking on the way to work. But I'm here. I have a chicken. I have some water. I have tomes of dungeon knowledge.
Excellent.
I'm ready to play some D&D.
All right then. And on my left, how are you, Mitch? Good.
I'm doing well. Yeah.
There we go.
Doing well.
Drink.
Yeah, I will happily tonight.
yeah.
Long day, and as always, it's good to have some role-playing to decompress with, so excited to hang out, excited for chat. I'll probably lurk in the Discord after this if anyone in chat wants to hang out. But yeah, I am playing Alex Telemus, the human bard, with the sort of homebrewed background of advocate, used to sort of work in big city bureaucracy, not so much anymore. He much prefers the adventuring life, and he more recently had a bit of a change in his personality disposition across the board, I guess. When the sky fell, he suffered some strange transformation. Now he suffers from lycanthropy, and he is indeed a were-goat. He has no control of it so far. He's starting to realize when and how it happens, namely under moonlight. He has very little command of his language while he's in were-goat form, which is a bit of a problem given that he's the face of the party. But we're getting there. He's got some good friends who stand by him when he goes through his unfortunate transformations. You can check out Neo Gambit's art. He does a pretty good job representing the were-goat in all its glory.
Yeah,
It's so true.
Not to mention, we have a thing from a viewer decision that needs to come into play at some point in this game, which is also represented by a mighty bit of Neo Gambit artwork of Garen riding the majestic war goat into battle.
Yep. But Josh, you're back this week. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. I'm much happier that I'm here as opposed to not being here, because that sucks. It's just the worst not being here. I'm looking forward to learning all about what the fuck happened. And I specifically didn't watch last episode because I would like to know as little as possible other than what the characters tell me, because real play. But yeah, course, it should be interesting. So.
Also, thank you so much to Mr. Mindflayer for the host. How are you guys? I'm pretty sure Chicky's there, as well as the Bagel Kings. Hopefully you guys are streaming earlier. I did catch like 5 minutes of it before we started stream. How are you guys doing? Welcome, Mindflayer people. Mindflayers. The Illithids. And finally, Cord. How are you, my friend, and who are you playing tonight?
I am well. I'm rather sleepy. Today, or this, I guess earlier, I did a all-night ARC Twitch RP stream. It was tons of fun. Met a lot of cool people, but it really took a lot out of me. But yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to mainline coffee. So, but yeah, exactly. Yep. Trying to prep a vein.
For a mainline coffee.
Yep, exactly. So I'm doing well. I'm obviously also called Mythomatic. I am playing Algan Nalo, the Fang. But for those of you who are not from the Fae, he is a Fae Fang. So he's, I've kind of built him as like an anti-magic Alice in Wonderland high elf paladin kind of thing. So, yeah.
Nice. Awesome. So we should probably have a little recap for not only Josh but for everyone else and for myself as to what happened previously on the Broken Kingdom campaign. So let's go around, see who on earth can remember the events of last time. I'll start you guys off. You arrived in Shulkstead, which was the nearby town where you're running away from the huge orc army, rather.
I think I remember.
It's chasing us.
It's a city on the move.
Led
by Moldark, the god. So yeah, who remembers some facts and some fiction?
I'll start. So yeah, we arrived. The town of Shulkster was on fire, so I kind of dumped off my compatriots into, like, you guys sort those people out while I fight fires with magic, and I summoned like rain clouds and stuff to put out these fires, and scared some peasants into being more efficient, because Garen is a rather large, scary man.
Sure.
And that carried on for a little while, and my compatriots went to visit the Baroness, who they were in the middle of sort of smooth talking and trying to get along to their point of view when I stormed in and called her a crazy old bint.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
That does happen.
Mm-hmm.
All too regularly.
There was a little bit of a back and forth. I don't think she liked me very much.
What gave you that
Not so
idea?
much.
Yeah.
But she
has no taste.
Tested me. I kind of had a
Literally hates my race, my abilities, and probably my hygiene standards. Like, I literally represent everything she despises in the world. But I don't know, racist. And then we were having a nice chat with her, basically, eventually getting her around to our point of view, and then
Yeah.
So, lol, shitty pun number one of the evening. I'll take a drink of that shitty pun. So we were heading to Shulkstead. The plan was to rally the Baroness, as well as all of her sort of fighting folk, from Shulkstead to go to Bleak Redoubt, which we think is going to be the best chance of defending against this army. And then we're going to head on to Baron Oxenhold, which is going to be a tougher task. When we were in Shulkstead, there was this sort of prolonged diplomatic negotiation. We sort of got some rapport built up with the Baroness there. She did agree not only to send many of her fighters up to Bleak Redoubt, but in trying to save the injured, the wounded, the old, the sick from not being able to make the journey before the army caught up with them. We sort of convinced them with what I thought was a good plan, but we'll see if it was or not. So we had all of the elderly, the sick, and the wounded hide in the sort of sewers and catacombs under the city, and then we had the city deliberately razed. So, like, Finbar went from trying to put out fires to trying to start fires, with the hope that when the orc army rolled over, the sort of scorched earth would kick in, and they would see that there's nothing there to raid or pillage, and they would just move on. Although, as we were riding off on the horizon towards Oxenhold, we did see this sort of black miasmal cloud come out of Moldark's wolf.
I feel like, if I remember right, it looked almost like kind of a swarm of insects, and just basically like some kind of void magic.
Yeah.
Or something.
And it just went out to find them is all we were tracking, and it sort of shot through the city, and it was going through buildings and the works. So we're a little concerned about what might have happened. But we did head to Oxenhold, where when we first got there, Alex parted ways with Garen and Algan, so I'll let you guys take over on how that went with Baron Oxenhold, the old bull.
I don't remember.
Algan, you want to cover this?
No.
Okay.
I probably will. I don't remember this interaction with them. with him?
It was a lot of me getting a little rowdy because essentially Garen is rather used to people not exactly trusting a half-orc magic user in a world that's racist against orcs and magic users. So he decided that the direct approach was the strongest one, and basically just walked straight up to the ox, shoved his aides aside, and basically told him, "Hey, you need to run or everyone's going to die." He kind of doubted me for a while until I used my fancy magic item horn that I had been given by
the
Grace of
silver
Chat.
Valhallan horn. I guess the horn of Asgard, really.
Yes, to
And thank you,
summon
Evil
my
Squeegee, for the
Asgardians.
host.
Sorry.
It's okay.
To summon some warriors of the gods down as my kind of to vouch for me, essentially. Which helped to convince people a bit when the soldiers of gods turn up to go, "Hey, this guy's cool."
Yeah, in
him.
a world of suspicion of magic, seeing the light erupt into divine soldiers is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
We can literally see where they're coming from at the minute as well, because there's a constant, giant, ominous glow on the horizon that is heaven. That hit the
Pretty
planet.
much. Yep.
So we managed to kind of get the ox talking. I very much was pulled out every stop to try and get him to take us seriously, and eventually he conceded to kind of trusting us with his people, and essentially nominated Garen as I'm thinking of as Baron-elect, or the in-lieu Baron.
Yeah.
As Garen is now basically guardian of the people of the Oxenhold, and is charged with shepherding them across the desert in the hope of finding.
But he agreed.
Oh yes,
He said he was going to stay though, right?
Yes,
Baron Oxenhold was going to martyr himself there. He's not leaving his fort.
Our advice was to basically take your men and you and kind of travel as quickly as you can to Bleak Redoubt and kind of hit and run tactics this army. And he was like, "No, we're dying here. There might be some magic in the walls, maybe he'll be fine." And basically Garen kind of eventually reached the conclusion of this is a man of faith. I don't understand his faith, but I know I wouldn't be swayed, so I know I can't sway him.
Yeah, Baron Oxenhold basically said that he swore an oath to defend the city, and if it cost him his life, then so be it. But he wants his people to be safe, so he saw something in Garen, and basically gave you the responsibility to take his people to the east, because going anywhere else is basically cut off, because on the map of Oxenhold, basically the army are coming in from the south there, and so that way it's cut off. So the only way is into the Eastern Satrap, towards Dustport and Dust, the city itself. So your options are fairly limited. Basically the Ox is going to try and hold for as long as he can, but you're moving a caravan of thousands of refugees with you, as well as most of his army, although some of the kind of his oldest and most loyal people will not leave him. So they're defending against a huge army of tens of thousands of orcs, and of course Moldark. And previously you saw him basically take the town in a matter of minutes. So your kind of faith in whether or not they'll survive is...
I know he's dead, but I know I can't sway him.
He probably knows the same as well.
We did because we showed him. We showed him what happened to Shulkstead with Algin's illusion magic.
His illusion, that's right, yeah.
Yes.
So the plan at this point, from what I remember at the end of the session, was that you guys were going to take the refugees, take them east, either to Dust or to Dustport. You haven't really figured that out, I don't think. And then somehow to kind of wrap back around to come back to Bleak Redoubt, which is here, where Baroness Keir Bleak, from the Out of the Abyss campaign, she's just won the Underdark Wars, essentially, against the demons. She, in theory, knows a lot about demons, about this sort of magic, and if anyone knows anything about stopping it, hopefully it's her. And so the idea is to gather as much support as possible and take everyone up into Bleak Redoubt, because it's probably the only place that can hold against such a huge force. So, that's also where Kane Hollow was sent. He ran basically from around here you guys were before, to Bleak Redoubt to send word. So we didn't see him last episode because he was going that way. Cord, you had a question?
Yes, I've got the map open and I'm just drawing it out for chat. But we are in Oxenhold. we want to head. We want to take Oxenhold's men, not necessarily the Ox, but we want to take them towards this Eastern Satrap. But which way are we going? Are we going to go up and around to Bleak Redoubt, or are we going to go down and around like Purg? Like,
I think we are yet to have that conversation proper.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rough plan was sort of, I think,
so
we were going to try and head to Dust or Dustport to basically drop off the caravan of people,
and then okay,
and then us lot move as quickly as possible somewhere else.
Yeah.
But that might be complicated by the fact we're about to go into like a country that's is currently locked in a cold war with the one we live in.
Yeah. So
God
yeah, the
King.
Eastern Satrap and the Broken Kings are basically in a cold war at this point. The God King Balashar himself lives in Oasis currently because he's basically used up all the resources. He started in Dustport, he moved down to Dust, now he's in Oasis, and basically, from what you know, those cities have been just drained of all resources, and he kind of works off the back of hundreds of thousands of slaves. Yeah, how's it going, Tiger? So before we begin the session proper, remind you guys of a few things. In fact, there are a lot of things happening today. Today is March 15th, which is what we've been talking about, the Skirmish launch, and it is indeed Skirmish itself, which we're using tonight, which will be launching. So in just under an hour's time on their website, you'll be able to go and use and download Skirmish for yourself. So keep that in mind. You can do that later tonight after the show. If you haven't followed, do hit that follow button and join us. We are here 5 nights a week, sometimes more. Every single week we do these campaigns, D&D, other RPGs, all sorts of crazy nonsense. Saturday the 26th is our next 24-hour D&D stream. We do one of those every single month with a bunch of our streamers that you might know and love, or hate. But hopefully they're all good.
Yeah.
What else? If you haven't retweeted, every few retweets, I think we had 25 retweets, we'll have a viewer decision, which means you guys get to decide anything which happens in our game. So you can find the tweet here and retweet that. Of course, if you haven't followed, when we get to 2,400, we'll have another viewer decision due to that. If you haven't considered becoming a patron of Encounter Roleplay, perhaps you should, because we have a whole lot of cool rewards for the show and outside of the show as well, such as our monthly newsletter, amongst hundreds of other rewards that you can find there. And of course, as ever, you can donate to change the course of the show. You can give players nat 1s, nat 20s, you can throw magic items at people, all sorts of crazy hijinks. You can find it down below underneath the donate tab. I think that is all the news that we need. Is there anything else I've forgotten, chat?
No, I think that's pretty much covers everything. Yeah. Except if you guys are interested in Skirmish or you want to know a little bit more, definitely check out our show today. You can check out all the links that have just been dropped in chat. And if you want to see how sexy this thing is, go back, rewatch all of our current episodes for the new season of Broken Kingdoms are up on YouTube. So yeah, definitely have a look, because this is a really
It's a neat thing.
Yeah, it's
neat.
Seductive.
It's neat.
It is
It's
neat.
super nice. Neato. It's crazy cool.
Super neat.
It's crazy.
What's up, Wolf Moon? We didn't really have time to answer that question, but I know everyone in chat will help you out, my friend. At the end of the show, if you guys have any questions, we'll be able to answer them more fully then, because we want to get into the action. We want to get back into the game. So, let's begin the Broken Kingdoms, episode 3, season 2. So, tonight, rather than starting in Oxenhold where we were before, we're actually going to start in Bleak Redoubt, where our friend Kane Hollow has been sent.
Indeed.
Crazy. So, crazy cool. Thank you so much to Figruk for following. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Welcome. So, Bleak Redoubt is, as you, Kane would know, is a mountaintop fortress in the snowy kind of snowy heights of these mountains near Purg. It is almost impossible to get to for the normal man. It's
It's-
very, very hard for an army to get there.
It's a treacherous sort of very thin
very
slope, so
treacherous.
it's like it's got quite a windy, snaking trail. And the cool thing about it is like it's okay if you're just traveling up a small group, but a large army, you've got to worry about rock slides, and the snow will just bog you down. It's a nightmare, and there are plenty of ambush points along the way, which Kia Bleak uses to great effect. So
Should I ask the the Oxenhold was in no way Helm's Deep. Is this place in no way the Eyrie?
It's a bit like that, but it's like snowy area, I guess. The higher you
So
get,
Skyrim,
it's
maybe.
yeah,
yeah, it's just like
Which is fine.
well,
That's
let
great.
me
It's
think
a
of
good
a-
reference point.
Yeah.
Nordheld. What's the Nordheld town? Winterhold or something like that.
Winterhold, yeah.
Winterfell.
No, well, no,
The
I
whole
think
thing-
I think if
it's
you
a bit
you
long.
imagine like the area is really difficult to like scale and everything like that, but this is more like set into an actual unscalable mountain. It'd be like, you know, okay, we know where it is. It's on the side of Everest. Getting there, on the other hand, is
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
something of a challenge. So it's not it's not really isolated and like on top. It's just like built in and like fucking indestructibly secure. And
Yeah.
there's the amount of shit you could just throw down the slopes at people. It kind of makes it a good
Exactly.
strong point.
So I said for the normal man it would be hard, but for a man such as Kane Hollow, who is in fact a half vampire, a Dampier, the cold doesn't affect him. It doesn't really bother him whatsoever. And so I imagine you've been running as fast as you possibly can for the past few days to get
Yeah.
up to.
Yeah, pretty
Bleak.
much. You know, not really sleeping, more meditating, being a half elf. If even that.
Sleeping whilst running.
Yeah, just like that. But no, he's hasn't stopped to eat or anything like that. Anything you filthy mortals need to do. But I think when it gets to arriving, he's not going to try and run through the doors because he's been here before and he knows that security isn't that
Yeah.
lax. And if you try and just rush the gate, it probably won't go well for you. So
What we're gonna do, rather than describing exactly the entrance to Bleak Redoubt, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start the scene in a dark chamber.
so edgy.
It's very edgy indeed. You know, Baroness Kia, she does like to be an edgelord, or an edge lady, I suppose. But yeah, you're in a dark chamber. You're sitting across a nice dark oaken table. There's goblets and platters laid out, all silvery, and across the room, across the table from you, lies Baroness Kia Bleak, sitting on a nice wooden-backed chair. She's drinking from one of these goblets. Got some dark wine from it. She's drinking from.
She's very
and
edgy gothic sort of like.
she is. She does look very gothic indeed.
Does her fringe
she's a
cover
lady
one
with-
eye?
Yeah.
No, she keeps it
Ah.
barred. She has maximum vision. She's actually wearing her hair up at this point. She has a various array of lovely dresses, most of which usually gothic. You haven't seen this one before, Kate. You haven't seen her in a very long time.
No,
And the Baroness, she's a woman hard to age. She's probably in her 50s, could be in her 60s. But she wears this kind of powdered white makeup, which makes her look very kind of pallid. And she's currently wearing a dark red dress to match the wine that she's drinking. She sits upwards, very up straight, and she's looking across from you as she asks a question. So, Mr. Hollow, what news?
Well, it's about the task you sent me to accomplish. You told me to keep an eye on the Weald and report any suspicious activity. And he sort of sighs and looks down and says, right now, there is... Well, Shogstead has fallen.
She raises an eyebrow.
And there
Tell
is
me.
an army marching on Oxenhold. You see, I'm unsure as to where to begin. He looks quite uncomfortable in this sort of situation. He's not used to. This is the first time he's been like he lived out in the wild for quite a long time, and like just in the camp north of Sholkstead. He's pretty much been there for probably over a decade. So he's not really used to all this fancy sort of high society. Even if she has gone for the crazy gothic vibe to make him feel maybe a little bit more comfortable, or maybe that's just her flavor. But even with that, he's a little bit like. So he says, where to begin? I was traveling with a party, friends. I know it seems strange. A person such as myself. Anyway, we headed into the wild, trying to look for this king, the king of the orcs.
Krug. Yes, I have heard of him. I've also heard of Wolfmoon. Thank you so much for following, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar, so welcome to the adventure. So yeah, she says, yes, I have heard of this Krug. He has taken Sholkstead alone?
No. The reason I bring you this message in person is because had it been delivered by anyone else, you might not have taken it so seriously. Are you familiar with the demons? I imagine.
She kind of chuckles a bit. I have just been from the Underdark. You might have heard of the Underdark Wars. We defeated the demon lords there, sent them back into the abyss. They are back. I find this hard to
There's like a pause, and then he just looks. He just looks across at her and is just like, you missed one. There is.
What is his name?
They call him the King of the Ravens. Moldark, I believe, was his name.
Ah. Now that is a problem. She sits back. He is not a demon. Not anymore. He is a god.
He looks awkwardly at her, like, right, okay, this is not the reassurance I was looking for. You sent me there to keep an eye on the orcs. Well, I tell you now that this is no orc army that marches towards Oxenhold. Orcs alone couldn't have taken Sholkstead in the speed they did, but I saw it burning on the horizon as I fled here. We are talking an army driven by this god, as you call him. He has complete dominion over their minds. Some dark magic. Tattoos mark them out. They do not stop, they do not sleep, they do not eat. They have only one mind, and when we tried to...
She holds up a finger. 6 months ago, I sent a party down into Nilfheim to defeat this creature. Last we heard, all the problems in the world had ceased, at least for a time, until the demon lords started creating problems. Perhaps, and she stops to think, perhaps he was connected to that somehow. Perhaps he never left. Perhaps they failed. Whichever way, if he is back in the Weald and has taken Sholkstead, and Oxenhold will surely fall. I can't imagine the Ox will ever leave that place, however.
I will have absolutely no knowledge of the party's plan to head east. Yeah. So I say, the last I heard, the party I travelled with was going there to convince the Ox to... And he looks awkwardly at the floor and says, I told them of your knowledge of the demons and your success in the Underdark Wars. And given my previous arrangement with you and, well, your hospitality for me and my brethren in some difficult days of the past, I told them that you would make a natural leader to fight this new threat that has arisen. But I believe...
You've done well.
Well, you say that now, but I believe they plan to hold Oxenhold against this army. A foolish and thankless task, but...
Perhaps the Ox himself will stay. I doubt your friends would stay to die. Either way, the refugees would flee. And these friends of yours are fairly irrelevant anyway. We need to think on a larger scale. The rest of the kingdoms need to be warned. The rest of the barons and baronesses should come here too. I will send out envoys. Use whatever power I have to bring them here. There, we will hold, whilst I do some research. I will be in touch. You should return to Oxenhold, and... yes, return to Oxenhold, and stay in touch. I will also send word when it's needed.
Kane nods, makes like there's a quick discussion over he needs a replacement bird, which I'm sure I could procure. I just need a bird that I can carry with me to send sort of messages back and stuff. Before he goes, he just says, it's almost like a passing comment, and he's not really bothered if she hears it, but he pauses on the threshold and just says, maybe you give my friends too little credit, or maybe I give you too much. And then he walks out of the room.
She holds her hand to stop. She holds up her hand to stop you, which your like preternatural senses like twinge, and you're and she's like, "You have done well, Kane. I will consider initiating you into the family for this."
He leaves. I have no idea how to respond to that, so he leaves.
Yeah.
She's gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. You're part of the family now.
You're part of the family. When say yo don't mean no day.
You're joining in the family. You leave, and I guess you start returning to Oxenhold. That was probably a few days ago. So back in Oxenhold, you guys.
Are we leaving
return.
this party together then with the refugees?
Yeah. So
I'll say
we'll get you back
like
in the scene.
if I arrive like as the party goes to leave, and like maybe Alex is like, no, we have to wait, and then I just arrive and I'm like, ta-da! And yeah, it's all Roman.
So we'll start the scene with you guys leaving Oxenhold, with the refugee caravan sort of working its way out.
Can we backtrack just 2 seconds?
Yeah.
So when no worries, I'm glad I took my headphones off. It's cool. Every once in a while, like super indoors, if you have the chance to like increase the immersion by not listening to like off-screen shit, it's super cool. So I generally have no idea what the fuck just happened with Josh, so that's good. So last session when Alex and Algan and Garen split up, Alex went to find the foe Brandith. Now, for the purpose of like keeping tonight moving, like we can just talk through. We don't need to actually like do in-depth role play or make rolls and stuff for it. But yeah, he was going to try and find the insidious like foe doppelganger of Brandith, who was there apparently with someone else.
So yeah, you would have gone to hunt out any man named Brandith. You might have even asked the Ox about Hector Reinhardt, because she was supposedly traveling with him. And you would have heard word that they travelled east. And cool. Brandith and that lot are no longer in the city. They only stayed for a few hours to speak with the Ox, and then they left.
Sounds good.
So yeah, you guys, I guess, are leaving Oxenhold, and you can see before you the land starts to turn from the kind of grass and kind of rubble from the Broken Kingdoms down into the dust and the dunes of the Eastern Satrap. So yeah, there are thousands of people leaving from Oxenhold, normal people, refugees, just usual folk, along with the majority of the Oxenhold army, which is fairly formidable. We'll say they are 2,000 strong that you can take with you. The rest stay behind in Oxenhold. It's not a huge force, but it's the way that Oxenhold is built that a small amount of men can hold a incredible stretch of the city. So, I guess we'll say it's mid-afternoon by the point that everyone's starting to leave. The bells are still ringing outside of Oxenhold to get people out. Where are the three of you guys?
I imagine kind of the way this is working almost is that like the last few caravans are going out and we're kind of hot on their tail because we would have to have waited for the last moment for because I think it makes a very cool shot if we get Kane riding in and literally the army is in sight and then he literally doesn't even get time to stop before we're out the other side of the city.
I love that you think Kane would ride a horse. If Kane had a several 100-kilo thing full of blood, it didn't make it. It didn't make it to you, buddy. I hate to break this to you.
Yeah.
That is it's fair and reasonable.
So yeah, I guess yeah, we see the little panning shot of the refugees kind of all walking out of the city and the army guarding them outwards into the dunes, and then three of you guys standing there like badasses just waiting, and then like a small figure appears on the horizon.
Well, it'd just be that moment where it pans round and then Kane is just standing on the end of the line, just like.
Oh, can it be the Indiana Jones bit where they're standing on the edge of the cliff, like where's Kane, man? And then like, and then you turn around and like he's like thinking he's fallen off the cliff. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, I'm just.
Nice. Yes, we have three teams. So I guess we kind of like. I guess the dramatic shot is just as we're about to leave Oxenhold at like crest of a cliff or something and looking out over this like. Massive responsibility we've just gained, or at least we've just gained. Technically, the person whose name is on the document is mine. So,
yeah, I'm sure Alex would have given you he would have read it over and then given it back to you very delicately and said really sternly do not lose this.
Yeah, Garen is taking this seriously. So sorry, it was 2,000 soldiers and roughly how many refugees are we talking?
Probably 5,000 to 6,000. You haven't had time to count. I mean,
okay,
is there numbers that you're just being
we're talking near 10,000 people have just gone into Garen's charge. Yeah, so Garen is very much looking out and is making sure kind of that there's no large scale problems that he can see. And Jay, I guess we turn and we see Kane and it's like, welcome back, friend. It was a hard road without you. How did you fare?
I look out the caravan that's moving and I'm like, I have imagined that we'll have plenty of time to discuss this on, I presume we are heading east through the mountains. We must take the path of Erebus!
They're trying to bring down the mountain!
There's a foul voice on the wind.
Thanks so much to Meady for following. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. If you haven't followed already, do hit that follow button and join us. Also, name check for someone, whoever's NPCs, the guard captain of Oxenhold.
Because I assume he's probably with us at this point. He's my military consult.
Yeah.
Corin.
Wait.
Oh no, shit! Corin is in.
No, he begins with an E.
This is the guy who ran everywhere.
Yeah. He told me.
I didn't write his name down. He was the runner. Shit. I'm on names. This is on
His
me.
name is.
This is embarrassing.
So what was his name? Sorry.
It's Herbert.
Herbert.
Yes.
Like Herbert, but
Herbert, but with an E.
Yeah. No,
like I should say, like you would say, herbs.
Herbs.
It's Herbs because there's a fucking H.
Yeah. Now, is it an H or is it a H?
Oh god, no.
Well, that depends
about
French Canadian by the H or the H there.
He steps into the scene. He's a tall guy with long hair, kind of lanky looking, and he steps in his kind of full armor. He just kind of steps behind you and says, "Baron."
Hi. Yes. Garen, I guess.
Alex smiles a little, this is something a small positive to enjoy. How this is going to go in a world that's falling apart.
Garen kind of goes. It's like the title is a little unnecessary, friend. Captain. What's his rank? Sorry, Captain.
Yeah, he'd be the good captain. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I would have learned that this way. So yeah, the title is unnecessary, Captain. I'm here to guard these people.
Yes, sir.
How goes the evacuation? Are we en route.
He says, everyone is out of the city and on the move. Where were we headed, sir?
Yeah, so I guess this is either a conversation we've previously had or that we are making the final thing now, but I guess we gestured like the map that we're probably all looking at while we're waiting for Kane, and I go,
Yeah.
well, decisions need to be either Dustport or Dust.
I can give you some information on both, sir.
Well, I am unfamiliar with the Eastern Satrap, so that would be most useful, Captain.
Where are we? Sorry, just to remind me, where are we?
You're
where
just
are
outside of Oxenhold with us.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, where are we trying to drop the refugees off? Jets.
That's what. Yeah, we're working at is either Dustport
Okay.
or Dust. It's kind of our
right.
first destination.
So yeah, he says, Dustport, not a lot left. Ruled over by Abdallah. Good passage to the sea. He'd let us pay for an extortionate price, most likely. Not many people living there. Most of them are slaves. Small standing army, figured around under 1,000. Last our reports say. We could take it, but we'd lose a lot of men. Would he let us in? Probably. Would he make us pay? Definitely. Dust, ruled over by Shigaru Shalub. He says standing army, 3,000 to 4,000. Slave population of over 10,000. Very few resources. Named Dust for a reason. The God King Balashar's basically taken everything from it. Would he let us in? I doubt it. He'd give us supplies for a extortionate price again, but very little else, I imagine. All the way down to Oasis, we'd be in difficult territory. Well, we'd be in difficult territory anyway, walking in an army of 2,000 into the Eastern Satrap. We should probably send word to the God King and to the other cities that we are coming. And fly flags of peace throughout.
I turn to who's sort of leading this? Is it
Hi.
Garen? Is it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. I turn to Garen and I sort of.
I
like,
have the
so
gym badge that
I've
gives
got
me
the-
easy ability to
okay.
control level
Oh, God.
15.
That was probably it. That's probably the seal.
I've got the so I've got the map in front of me, and I just say if we head towards Dustport, we are heading west the whole heading east the whole time. The army comes from the north. If they sent another army round towards Dustport and for the Eastern Satrap, then we are going to be heading along their front line. We'll probably get cut off and get sandwiched between the army and the coast. I am uncomfortable having that many refugees so close. Plus, is that a river next to Dustport?
That's the Dust River, yeah.
Is there actually a river, or is it like
It's a river, it's very
Oh
salty.
yeah, cool. Okay, the saltiest.
But it is kind of down
Yeah.
It presents being a river. It's the saltiest river.
Mm.
It spews forth from the collective mass of Twitch chat.
Indeed,
Yeah.
Dustport is Twitch.
There it is.
I indeed. I look down and I'm like, if we hit
Dust for a reason.
it's dust. It gets everywhere. Just like sand. I
Ah!
suggest we
Alex,
head south.
Alex is still pretty convinced that he is the one responsible for everyone dying in Shulkstead, and he's not too optimistic about what's going to happen with these refugees. So he's going to try and put a hand on Kane's shoulder and veer him away from the conversation and just say sort of to Garen, or sort of say to Alex, referencing Garen, let them speak, friend. You and I can discuss logistics and try and pull you away because I don't want the guard captain to get too worried about how dire things are.
Yeah, he says, sir, with respect, the longer we stay in the Eastern Satrap, the worse our chances of an army from God King being sent. We're in muddy waters on diplomatic terms. Moving an army into their territory is strictly against the terms of our treaty with them. This could cause a war.
Captain, we're already at war. This one is
We don't need a war on two fronts, sir. And it's a war we definitely lose. The God King, he has millions at his command. Sure, they might be slaves, but
Alex is going to pause for a moment. So he was in the midst of trying to veer Kane away. I guess like we're on horseback, so we'd be trying to be like, let's go talk. You know, like I have questions about Bleak Redoubt and that sort of thing. But hearing this sort of like war on two fronts, yada yada, this could potentially spark a confrontation. Alex is going to like stop and turn immediately and sort of completely go around Garen. He's still not used to Garen being the one in charge of the conversation. Yeah. Genuinely, like he's like not used to that, and he's going to turn right to Guard Captain Herbert, who sounds like a Muppet. He's going to turn to Guard Captain Herbert, and like pretty. He's going to look him right in the eyes and ask how he cooks while being Swedish. No, he's going to ask really intensely. Guard Captain, is there anything between here and Dust? Any natural formations, any defensible position, any old ruined cities, anything where a decent defense can be mustered?
He goes again to look at the map. He says, "There's very little in terms of actual defenses. There is an old ruined city where Dust used to be and where it's been moved." And he points on the map to about here, just lying under the mountains. They moved it away to be closer to the sea.
Do you figure there's room? Do you think that city could hold, say, 2,000 men? And he'll gesture to the force that Baron Oxenhold sent.
For how long? Without supplies, is my question. Sure, we could stay within there, but we might die without any trade routes or supply routes from Oxenhold or from Dust.
So Garen's going to kind of cut over the top and say, Alex, did you find which direction, what's his name, Ironheart and... I've got his bloody name. Doppelganger friend.
Brandith.
Oh, yes, and
they went to Dust.
They went towards Dust.
Found us out. Yeah.
Whatever creature Brandith is...
And he's going to interrupt you, is the least of my concerns right now.
But I feel like he may be tied to this chain of events. Also, our dear friend Hector does command
drop you right
something
there.
of an
Thank
army.
you so much. XP is overrated for donating £1. Session's going well. Let's give Mitch some inspiration. Thank you so much, XP. That's really nice of you.
That's not what it actually said, was it? Mitch is just lying to us. Gord's just lying.
Yep,
Like,
Mitch is alright.
Mitch is always lying. He's
Mitch is
that
lying
bad
about
lawyer.
Mitch.
He can make
wait.
other people lie for him.
Guys, it's been like 6 months. Stop fucking up Cord in my name. It's not that.
My alias in your name.
Jesus.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so Alex is like he's registering, and he's gonna like it's not like a more radio conversation, and he's gonna sort of like back and forth with Garen. He's gonna say, if this God King Balashar is so quick to raise his forces against the Northwest, what do you think the odds are we could get him to raise them in time to meet a charging front of orcs, perhaps?
Well, I don't think the Raven King is into prisoners. So we've made 2 broken barons see fit to grant a half-orc some vestige of authority. I feel a God King is the natural next challenge. I say we head for Dust. If we move further away from the mountains...
You misinterpret me, friend. If this God King...
Thank you so much, Cord, for donating £1. I'm awesome. I deserve inspiration too. Thank you. Thank you so much, whoever you are. And it wasn't me, I promise. Thank you. And thank you, Poppet Princess, for the host.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, Alex will say, you misinterpret me, friend. My purpose is not to ally with this ravenous God King, simply to put him in the way of the coming storm, if you follow.
Garen has so your plan essentially, because Garen is not very good with intelligent study, but the wisdom is he gets your intention is basically to you want to throw this our little force into this little defensible location to try and peel a big army to intercept, hopefully.
Yeah, so there's a little more role playing left. So he'll have to ask Herbert as well as Kane, possibly, but I feel bad like sending Kane off to ride all the time. So I want to see if Herbert has a fast rider, like comparably fast, so we can keep the party together. Guard Captain, do you have any of your men have any contacts, reliable, trusting contacts in Dust, preferably wherein their contact would trust them and their word?
I am going to interrupt at this point, take Alex to one side, like quite forcefully, actually.
Well, I'll just like, no.
Yeah. I'm just like, no. I'm just like, I take Alex to one side, and I'm like, hold that, and I'm gonna like ride off, so we're just out of earshot, and I just say, you realize what you're asking? The God King, you know what his army is comprised of? Slaves. You want to send millions of slaves as cannon fodder to... Not cannon fodder. What are cannons? I have no idea. You want to send them to die for a few thousand men from Oxenhold. What makes them any better?
Friend, the men of Oxenhold have already sealed their own fates. This is less about whose nation will spill more blood and more about whether any of us will have blood left before the night is come from this army from the north. If we can procure or draw in the God King into this conflict, we might buy time to get these strong-willed, well-armed, well-trained fighters from Oxenhold. We might buy them time to shore up the last defense at Bleak Redoubt.
I should...
Garen's just gonna... I think I'm worried about how willing I am to just overrule you at this stage, because Garen thinks he has a plan. It's like... I think Garen stands up and just goes... Captain, if we take a few horses that we can change in shifts, how quickly could we be in? Could the four of us be in Dust?
We could be there by tomorrow morning.
How long would it take the refugees to move to there?
2 or 3 days. In the heat. If we ran the horses until they died, we'd get there by tomorrow morning.
My thinking is, we make for Dust, we advance as a negotiating party, the leaders there. We try to impress upon them the gravity of the threat they face, the need of our people. We, if worse comes to worse, have we been given, like, the Oxenhold treasures? Do we have the money to buy, like, some extra water?
You got the treasury. Let's say you got 50,000 gold at your...
If the worst comes to worst, we explain our issues. We hold them at bay with Alex. You talk, Noble. You can hold them.
Alex, you talk, Noble. Here's where I may sort of counterpoint. I want to make a history check or a knowledge check, some kind of check with your call. And I'm going to use my inspiration on this to know something about the God King Balashar, particularly, whether or not this whole plan of, just like go rally the troops. Like if we just keep going from fort to fort, we can just like talk them into helping us. As a player, as a player, I'm really suspicious that that's something that's not even going to be possible. So
me too.
From the history check.
I think I am as well, but Garen is.
It's
And also he's not.
First roll is a 16 plus 5, so 21. And second roll, we can show it on the cam, nat 20. I use my inspiration, so thank you very much for that inspiration.
Nice. Hey, thanks,
25, nat 20. On knowing everything there is about how God King Balashar deals with diplomatic interactions with foreign.
So he deals with... He's a bit like Putin, I guess. He's a Monday equivalent. You could draw a parallel there. Any negotiation takes like years. Like any kind of like the treaty was is like years and years old, and it took forever to get to any kind of agreement with him. He is like he'll give you 0%. He expects 1,000% in return. And in terms of like anything to do with the Broken Kingdoms, like you'd probably think an army on his territory that you're coming at it from like the exact thing that is just going to trigger him, basically, because it's the sort of thing where he rules over a slave population and he has to be seen as a crushing kind of ruler, and so any kind of sign of weakness, they'd see dealing with the Broken Kingdoms as a weakness, and if they're refugees, well, you're weak, so you should die. and so dealing with the people in the cities is going to be very, very hard to convince them to get some kind of alliance just because the circumstances declare it.
Cool.
It's possible, but it seems very unlikely. Like the God King
And it
himself,
would-
when he gets involved, would be hard. But the guy in Dust, Shigeru Shalhoub, maybe he could be convinced he is not the God King, but he does. He is in deference to the God King.
Okay.
But he also lives in a city that has been literally drained by this man.
Yeah.
So, we
Yeah,
might be
but
like-
in theory, but you'd also know on Nat 20 is that he's like one of the God King's like inner circle basically, and so he just sends out these kind of nobles to rule over them and continue to suck them dry. So it's not like he's the he's had such a hard time. His city's been kind of like taken from
Because
him by
I
the
meant,
God King.
the God King
He took the city for the God King.
I was going to say the God King isn't going to let his nobles, who he's chosen to lead these places, starve. I imagine like things are pretty. If you're a common sort of peasant in these areas, it's pretty miserable and shit. But the ruling elite, they probably get. I mean, there's probably trade routes from Oasis and all the other conquered lands that the God King has, and he's just like, yeah, cool. I'll make sure you are looked after, but your people.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So I guess Finbar, it's your call if you want me to actually roll a persuasion. But Alex is going to come down hard on your plan because he has no interest in even trying diplomatic relations with the God King, which is why he's kind of proposing as an alternative to trick the God King into sending out his army to repel what he might think is the Broken Kingdoms coming after him. And then if we can get it so that his army meets the Orc army instead, because the Broken Kingdom army is actually like holed up, hiding somewhere to let them fight it out, and then run off to Bleak Redoubt.
Okay, so you want to essentially... Okay. So you bring up, like, we basically, like, secret away our 2,000 men while we let the armies kind of fight it out.
Out of character, to make sure that we're all, like, on the same level in context. Hide the Baron Oxenhold's 2,000 force in the ruins of the old city, potentially leak, again, that's why I asked if Herbert had any contact in Dust, leak through what seems like a local source that the Ox is finally coming to take Shigeru Shalhoub's town. Their scouts will come out, they'll see an army, whatever. We move from like just being on the road coming towards the city, quickly duck into the ruins, and then hopefully the timing lines up that, he musters his force, and then we just cut west as
I'm
fast.
literally...
Yeah.
Garen very sternly, because I was like, and leave 7,500 people undefended walking through a desert, surrounded by foreign armies that want nothing but to enslave them? Or that's the lucky version, they could meet the forces of the Raven King.
So with respect, if we are in the Eastern Satrap, then the God King probably already knows that we're coming.
I turn around and I just say, listen, it doesn't matter what action we take, the longer we spend in the Eastern Satrap without supplies, the more likely these people die. If you want any fighting men left, we have to get out. We must leave this place. The only way to go is back through Oxenhold, north around the mountains, or south. Dust is the only place we can go. I'm not saying we have to hit the city, but without it, these people will die in a barren land.
Just again, out of character because I'm tracking for the map. Is there not a second city? There's Dust and there's
Dustport, but Dustport.
Dustport is directly
long
east,
stretch.
so it's literally like it's not south in any way. In fact, it's slightly further north, but it's on the coast, and it's
but for the
completely
sake of
east.
the sake of the refugees, not the soldiers, because obviously we need to get the soldiers west. I know it would be a hard road, long road, not off supplies. Many of them would die, but is the idea being that if they get to Dust Port, that they could buy passage with Oxenhold's treasury to like not be enslaved to the God King, like they could fuck off to whatever continent is east of the port?
They probably
there's
we
no
have-
continent east.
Yeah, do we have any idea where they could sail to, essentially?
if we were to give them the money and send 7,000 unarmed peasants with 50 grand just into the desert, they would be massacred for the money and they would die. And even if they arrived at Dustport, if they turned up and they were like, we have all this money, the God King would just have them fleeced of it and
without me there to like beat the crap out of a negotiator or you there to negotiate.
We'd need to send men with them, and we cannot spare men.
I think so. Garen is literally going to say, Alex, are you so quick to leave another group of civilians to die?
Oh, snap!
We take them through the desert. We head towards Dust. We gather more support there if we can, supplies if we can't. I don't care if we empty Oxenhold, the Ox's treasury to do it. We move south towards Kilgard after that.
I have a question
Move
just
out.
for chat and for ease of plan, understanding, and all that, especially for me as well.
Yep.
If you guys who are pitching an idea for what we're doing, the Roll20 does have the map on it. You can just draw. You can draw the path that you want.
Oh, right.
And then we can all see what you're thinking visually as well. Because I'm having a hard time paying attention
Fair.
and without
Okay,
visuals.
So I am. So my plan is we kind of head this way, something like that, because
Okay.
we can't really go back towards in this direction because big baddies. Like my understanding is that the army's going to kind of head towards Oxenhold, and then probably swing down to Purg, unless they're for some reason chasing us, which I don't think we're that important.
Cool. So you want to head towards Kilgard.
I think that's our best bet. I think maybe we maybe move with the caravan for a day and a day and a half to 2 days, and then we peel off towards Dust to try and do some negotiating for supplies, and kind of go like, "Hey, we're not coming to invade. We're
Okay.
literally just moving past.
Right.
Don't fuck with us."
I have an idea. From what we've been told, Dust, the guy from Dust, Shigari Shalou, I probably butchered that, Will. I apologise, but Shigari
Bombayaloo.
Bombay.
His name is
Didgeridoo.
Shigaru Shaloub.
Shivaru Shaloub.
Come on, dude.
At least that's what Herbert said. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. I look at Herbert. I'm like, you're making this up, aren't you? He's just reading off a cultural menu, really.
He's actually reading out of the abyss lore.
I point down to I point to where Dust is, and I say, look, from what we understand, Dust will supply the refugees, but not give them anywhere to hold up. But traveling through the Eastern Satrap is dangerous. What say you to us heading towards Dust with the caravan? We take the men that way as well. We resupply and then we part ways. They can travel through. What's the central area like? Where because there's like the Eastern Satrap, but the central area, which is like it's not like a desert.
That is there.
Are you looking at Purg?
Yeah, well, it's like
Well, the issue going through there is that that's where the big bad army is.
Well, but the thing is, if we are we're trying to hit Bleak Redoubt, and Bleak Redoubt is further north. So if that's the time scale we're looking at, we're gonna have to fight our way through an army anyway just to get to.
Yeah, my thinking is more along. So say we go to Kilgard and then over to Brasso up towards the back.
Oh god, that would take months.
Yeah,
I think genuinely
I don't know. That's at least the best route for the refugees. Maybe once we get them out of the Eastern Satrap,
if we get to
then
Dust, and we split up with them in Dust, and they head into sort of the middle of the continent, they could either hit Purg or they could go to Kilgard. But we just beeline with all the men we have at our disposal, the fighting men, towards Bleak Redoubt. I've just run that in half. How long did that take me, Will, to get from
for you? To get from about midway here to Bleak Redoubt, and some probably different passageways and stuff like that. That probably took you several days.
Yeah.
In fact, no, it took them a week, so it would have taken you over a week to run that.
So it's going to take us 2 weeks, maybe, probably longer. But if you think that's going to take us that long from Dust to Bleak Redoubt, if we were heading north and all the way around, it'd take us months.
Yeah, I think Garen's plan is basically get the refugees, we'll take them south, we get them to Kilgard. He's slightly less concerned about I need them to be safe because a man that he respects trusts me. And I'm left with this responsibility, and there's a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people die recently, and I'm not into it.
Cool. So Alex is he's less concerned with the refugees given the scale of the army and the scope of the sort of larger issue. But given on the Nat 20 that he knows the fate that's coming to a mass of people who were walking into Dust is not much better than death at the hands of an orc army. He'll sort of look to you sternly. I just want to roleplay the rebuttal, and then we can go back to other characters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Garen is very much holding
Yeah, so are you that prepared to, send another group of civilians to their death? And he'll just look you sort of blankly as he ever has before.
As a goat would.
Say, as a goat might.
A vacant,
As a
The
goat.
flat
a
eyes of a
vacant
goat,
stare.
stares out from the face of my
Sapid
friend.
goat. And he'll sort of like nod deferentially in a way that you've seen him do to like people he's manipulated, either politicians or judges or whatever. So it's him understanding that you're holding the paper, but there's a very pretentious air to how he's sort of letting you go with whatever it is that you'd like to decide. And then he'll sort of...
You look like you're humouring him essentially before
Yeah.
He's the
you
thing is
deliver
like
a
'cause
bombshell.
Alex also knows that like Garen detests like the nobility, the ideas of
Yeah.
barons. So like he's full on like he's throwing serious shade.
Yeah, he'll give you that deferential nod, sort of gesturing to your papers, and say, "Their blood is on your hands, then, friend. None of them will get out of dust."
Yeah. Okay.
And something
yeah.
you bring them to the God King's hands, he will not unclasp his fist.
Out of character.
Yeah.
Out of character. Why don't we just go around north?
Because
There's an army coming.
Yeah, I mean north.
They're at
up back
Shulkstead.
towards
But they're also in
Belgorod is
Purg.
like. So
Right?
I
You
think
don't know
our
that they're in
No,
Purg.
no.
yeah,
Oh,
my
okay.
understanding of the bad guys is they are. One
Pouring
second.
out of the wield.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So there's no go to
So I mean, yeah, last you saw, let me draw this for you, so for you guys. So last you saw, they are coming from, here. They've moved through Shulkstead. They've taken
Ahead.
this place. They're moving to Oxenhold. But
Yeah.
you basically saw them like a long line of this whole army going through. Because they didn't just move tens of thousands of people. The whole army was in at Shulkstead by
Yeah.
that time.
but
So as
like
far as you know,
up to the
they
north
are
is where the
still-
orcs come from. So
Yeah.
if they have any kind of rear guard, like I mean,
right.
we nearly
Who,
died.
who
fighting
says that
for-
they're not still in Shulkstead? I guess.
Yeah. And who says
yeah, so
who says they're not attacking the Eastern Satrap?
Yeah.
So
They could be
yeah.
launching an invasion on Dustport for all we
Yeah,
know.
if they're
South
just-
is the only place we know is relatively safe.
If they're
Yeah,
coming
and
down on
given-
both sides of this, there is only south.
Yeah. And like,
And-
but yeah. So I guess what Alex, just so we're clear, but again, Alex has like totally resigned himself to Garen being in charge on this one. He's still sort of shaken from his last taking of control, but his original plan was to sort of like skirt, because again, the ruins of
Yeah.
Dust were in the mountains. So like the eastern tip of those mountains there, which are west of Dust, that's where this ruined city is. The plan wasn't for him to have the refugees walk to Dust. It would be to sort of leak that there's an army coming, have the refugees and the army hide in the city, hope that the God King sends out his army northwest, and then we could just skirt west to Purg. So basically, like, not go into the city of Dust proper, just avoid it entirely. But
Oh no, I
that,
think Garen does not think of like he's not suggesting we move this entire column of refugees into Dust. It's very much like we send them kind of skirting on the mountains. He says south to Kilgard. I think I want to send the refugees south to Kilgard as opposed to towards Purg because I think the likelihood of an army just kind of like taking a day's detour to wipe this column out
Yeah,
if they
no,
move
that's
from
fair.
Oxenhold to Purg is likely.
Can I interject here real quick because I have
Yeah.
something that could help us make a decision. I just suddenly had a thought. I've got a falcon back. I'm going to use one of my spells, Beast Sense, and I'm going to have this falcon fly north and as high as it possibly can. It lasts for 1 hour, and I can see anything and hear and everything like that. Whatever the beast witnesses, sees, etc.
Good call.
Yeah.
If I scout this out, and if it turns out that they've entirely headed to the west, they're coming down from the west past Shulkstead, and there is no army advancing towards Dustport, then I say Dustport is not a bad shout. But if not, then we're fucked.
So very much like if you suggest Dustport, it's like Garen will say, I will not send these refugees without an army, and we need this army moving towards Bleak Redoubt as quickly as possible. We can't afford the few weeks it would take to back and forth from Dustport.
I say
I think
we'll be
south is our
moving-
only choice.
We'll
here.
be moving a lot faster without caravan of refugees. But anyway, like,
Yeah,
should we?
and again,
This
like,
is
out
happening.
of character too. Alex is like out of character too.
Yeah.
Like he's on board with Kane and not sending the refugees anywhere near Dust, just because he like. We'll say that
Yeah,
Nat
but-
20 evokes like this fear of the God King's lack of discretion in politics. Like he is the most ruthless of all things that Alex has heard of. So he would rather risk the refugees without an army getting to Dustport while there's enough of a diversion to occupy the God King that they may, some of them, get on ships with the money and leave. He would rather that than risk bringing all of them, even with an army, close to the God King. That's sort of his perspective. But again,
I have the quickest of Will.
Yep.
Remembering that I am a mighty ancient person, when did the God King assume power, and how? Would I know of this?
Yeah,
Specifically,
he's,
how ruthless he was, because that will change my opinion.
Yeah,
rather
his rise to power was about under 100 years ago. And his rise to power was essentially killing off all of his political opponents in a bloodbath.
How many hundred years?
Or so the rumors go. Say 90 years ago.
Yeah, like
90. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's
but he was a man.
Ish.
He was a man when this happened. So
Well, you think
that's
about
why the rumors of
Finn.
him being a god king might be true.
Elves live for like 500 years. Like
Yeah.
So like it's not.
enough.
Yeah,
No,
no.
it's
But
not
it's like
unfeasible.
it's not unfeasible that he could just be a very lucky mortal.
Yeah.
But I say
magic is a
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Just trying to get like an idea of like how founded are claims of his divinity at this point. Like, is there enough history for us to go? Yeah, okay. Well, he's evidently more than human if he's actually the same guy.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm gonna make you my suggestion, and then I'm gonna leave it because Kane isn't in charge of this situation. I just say we head towards Dust. We don't stop in Dust. We literally send out envoys with the money. We get resupplied. We send the supplies with the refugees to Kilgard, and they travel on their own. Whereas we then split with them outside Dust, and we have to figure out how we're going to get to Bleak Redoubt, and just with the fighting men, and we haul ass. That's my idea.
I think that's roughly what Garen's at.
Yeah, except I think Garen's more sort of like protect them the whole route, whereas I'm just like
he definitely is not entirely comfortable leaving them without any fighting people.
It's more like telling them to head in from the Eastern Satrap, so they're not traveling
Garen takes this on board. Here's Kane. I guess Algin probably doesn't have any like concrete. Does Algin have anything to say during this time? Or is he just like
he probably
doesn't have
actually
anything
points?
Like concrete?
He doesn't have much. Like he doesn't know the area. He's listening because he's trying to learn it as much as you guys are like discussing it. In character, not in character. But Chark, he does point to Alex, and he goes, "What do you know of here?" And he points to Chark, and he thinks that you would probably have the most knowledge of the land.
that's a good question. I'll roll
From a history check,
14, and my history is 5, so 19.
Sure. So you know that Chark itself is a very cold territory, and where Baron Kimbard rules, although he's often absent. Not much is like traded here other than this Charkian wine, which is very famous. It's basically its cash kind of crop. It's a kind of luxury city. It's not a huge defense city because it doesn't really have anything that needs any kind of border which needs to be defended from. Nearby Coal Town is more of a defensible point, really, because more troops are there, owned by Baron Rembolt. But Chark itself, kind of set up in the mountains, basically a big trade city.
Okay, Alex will turn to Algan and say, nothing by way of a defensible place, but reclusive enough that the men are less jumpy at arms.
What about the mountains?
Fairly wealthy.
We don't need man's architecture to help and stop us when we have the world to use as tools as well. What about the mountains?
Will, do I know anything about like routes from Chark that go through to maybe Caria? I don't know if I'm reading that right on the map. Just to the east there on the river, sort of like the southeast block of the Eastern Satrap. Basically, are there any viable routes through the mountains that Chalk is sort of nestled into? Not necessarily to get through, but just like to go into rather than staying in
Sure.
the city.
Yeah, you know that the mountains up here are very kind of inhospitable, but you don't know about any routes through. You assume that there probably might be a trade route through from Chalk to Oasis for trade, but
Oasis, okay.
you wouldn't know that that's the case.
Okay,
I was
then
trying
yeah,
to fix the
he'll,
Broken Kingdom's empathy.
Yeah.
it's all good. He'll say to Algan, nothing by way of roads or anything hospitable. It's a harsh southern strip, but I suppose not as harsh as what waits to the north.
Yes.
I
I mean, why... If... It's a risk, but if we were to get a foothold in the mountains of Chark, maybe we would have advantage towards any attacks coming from the north. And if we drain... No, never mind.
Yeah, Garrett at this point kind of is going to just kind of he puts his foot down. I'm going to say, just like, the only direction we can head is south. All others, I see no solution that works. The refugees hug the mountains, head towards Hilgart. We will take enough men and horses to carry supplies. Myself, maybe Alex, to make some negotiations. Get supplies from Dust. Send them a message if I take our warnings to heart. Good. If not, well, we have done everything. We'll have tried. Finally,
Yes,
if we get the chance to, once we're done, I'd like to see if we can find this Brandith and beat whatever the hell's going on with him out of him. A problem I can solve would be most welcome. After we get past there, we'll think about the next issue.
I turn to Alex as you say, like, beat it out of him, and I'm just like, he doesn't seem to get the fail safes that this Raven King has put in place. Sort of referencing the fact that we also tried to beat information out of an orb. This is like said, like, so Garen can't hear, but it's like, it's very much like.
I mean, I'm hoping he's something a little different, but you never know. Well, maybe that's what we'll find out. But
No.
we've got to get.
So yeah,
Either way, that would make me happy. If I could just kill something, it's a problem I can do.
Yeah.
The plan is to head south, keep the refugees in the army hugging as close to the west, onto the foot of the mountains as possible. We will potentially go into Dust to try and barter for supplies. But what I will say,
I assume, just sorry to cut over very briefly, we do need supplies if we're going to make that long a journey, right?
Yeah.
Will?
Yeah.
I keep
You've got a few days at most.
Okay, yeah. So we have
you're
enough
like
time to get to Dust before we need something.
Yeah.
So what Alex will say as we sort of part off, and I'll just sort of blast through this out of character so we make sure we can move on. He'll like very sternly say to all of the party that he sort of like cares enough about them, and we have survived, the skies falling down upon us together with one another. Dramatic pause. None of us will leave that city if we speak to the God King. We get in, we get out. We don't try anything. And he'll look to Garen, sort of insisting that, like, there is no diplomatic way around dealing with the God King. We need to get supplies and get out somehow without interacting with that figure.
Okay.
I nod. I say the old man has wisdom.
Yeah, Garen will kind of like put his hand on your shoulder and go, "Friend, we shall be as subtle as the whispering wind through the leaves."
And with that, to break the dramatic tension of 2 hours of political debating and plotting, Alex will burst into laughter at the thought of Garen being subtle about anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I imagine he says that
keeps
and
a stern face.
Lightened.
So we are going to go to Dust, that's for sure. I have that on the map. And then from there, we're going to have another 2-hour debate, or where are we going to go from there? South?
It's then either the choice is very basic between like Kilgar or Purg, and I think we're settled on sending the refugees to south because
the
refugees going into the middle is bad.
Either way,
right,
we get
so
to
we want to
Dust,
get to at least here, and then we'll decide.
Yeah. So
Yes.
as a party, like we're trying to we'll figure out where we're going to send the refugees. We know we're sending the army to Bleak Redoubt. We'd probably like to get to Bleak Redoubt. We're like, as a party, we're probably like the only ones at most who are going into Dust itself to try and, if not like those who are carrying like the Oxenhold money, to like barter for supplies. We're not bringing our group, our troops, our refugees, or any of that into the city. we're going to go in as a party, try and get some supplies, and then get out as fast as we can. We may send the refugees divergently, but as a party, I think the plan is generally we're all trying to get to Bleak Redoubt, which I guess, Will, you're called in character, out of character. Alex is going to be asking Kane what news from Kier Bleak.
I say she has troubling news. Like, can we say like we're on the roll at this point?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this might be like
Yeah,
you guys are like riding off. Me and the captain are kind of riding through the caravan. I'm doing my best to like lead to the best degree. I think Garen is like doing his best to like kind of appear like that to people and be like, okay, I am big and scary, but I'm your big and scary.
Yeah.
is the image he's going for right now.
It's I get
Making
that.
Matonica great again.
All right, let's
Yes.
take a quick break from the action for the planning and stuff for just 1 second.
Yeah,
to remind everyone
that's-
that's watching, if you haven't followed, do hit that follow button and join us in our adventure. We are here 5 nights a week playing D&D, like games like this. Curse of Strahd begins tomorrow, so if you want to catch that, make sure you follow. What else? 24-hour D&D stream happening this Saturday, the 26th of this month, which I'm very excited for. If you haven't retweeted, we're just 6 retweets away, apparently, from the viewer decision, which means you guys get to decide anything which happens in our game. So you can throw some crazy shit at us, such as goat armor and weregoats, as previously seen. Thanks so much to Frankenfry for following. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir, and in avenues you can go and get Skirmish. From now onwards, you can go download your own trial and find out for yourself the fun that you can have. So yeah, welcome, Frank. So, you guys are heading off.
Yeah.
Frank says, as a DM, the session made me so happy and great to watch. I'm so glad. you think so, Frank.
Thanks, Franken.
It's been cool just to watch you guys deal with impossible situations. So
There's a great DM tip that's if your players are arguing, you've done something right as a DM because you've given them a complex enough problem that like there are valid options in many different ways that don't align with one another.
So we're on the road.
In my head, Will's just sitting there like, yes, good. You all argue.
So,
I
watch
don't
what
have
you're
anything
saying.
planned.
While I write
Please
up
keep going.
stat blocks for horrific things on the. Like, he was like, "That wasn't going to be an army, but you know."
You
That's
know.
not a bad idea.
And thanks so much to Billy Havoc for following as well, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Welcome to the adventure, Billy. Hope you have a chaotic time here. So we're on the road towards Dust.
Yeah,
So
Alex is,
I guess
asking
if
Josh
you two are gonna have a
about-
conversation, I'm off riding with this. What's Algan doing? Just briefly.
Yeah.
Or is he with
We
them?
had enough from Algan tonight.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything from Algan tonight. Not because I've been stepped on or anything, just because I've been thinking and trying to understand everything as we do it. So let me just
Yeah, I imagine like
quickly-
the politics are super weird if you're from
Yeah.
the Bay where you don't have these weird
Yeah.
alliances.
What do you mean
absolutely.
you don't?
He's been thinking
You're
of
young.
Panojani and how much he wants to thank Panojani for clicking that follow button. You gentleman and scholar, thank you.
Hannah Jenny. There's a
Um,
song in that song. I'm
So
not gonna write it.
Algan probably nudges on the way to when we're heading out to Alex, and says, "You've mentioned you'd like me to try to contact my people. Is that still an option?"
Alex will look to what I assume are some of the, like, not as impressive flowers as we enter the desert, but still flowers blossoming behind Algan.
I forgot all about
Yeah.
And,
Oh fuck! I have clogs.
now that we're...
I have a necklace of invisible clogs.
You also have a rain door. Thank you, rain door, for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Hang out. Hope you have a good time. Welcome wholeheartedly from the team. Alex will sort of gesture to the flowers and say, "Yes, friend, have you had any sense of where this came from, or what spurned or sparked your newfound connection to your home?"
I can only assume it is from the imbalance of what is natural and what is unnatural to your world, at least. From what the natural mystery, which is what grows behind in my path, and also which waves the winds from where I reside have split and have entered your world, and that is only because of this imbalance. This sign, this anomaly which we look upon, and he's gesturing to the flowers, the viewer or the wild magic surge, I think, or the that was bestowed upon him.
Yeah.
These what you would call flowers are just a sign that I am here on the right path, and no pun intended, this path is the right path for balance between your world and mine.
Now, friend, I hope you take me in earnest and sincerely when I say that
In Herbert.
what I'm about to suggest in Herbert is out of deference and out of love. It is in no way meant to demean whatever connection you have to your world, to your home. But a part of this imbalance, this chaos that has come to our middle kingdoms, has left these thousands starved. Is there any way that you might spin or turn or draw out whatever has given you this path to blossom something that they might eat?
Oh, that would be epic.
I do not try to channel the anomalies which reside around me. The winds of change and the winds of imbalance have a mind of their own. I only read the winds as a scale upon where I should stride.
Then,
But if you
friend,
like, I can try to meditate into it.
turn
Use
your
it.
eye. Read and focus on reading the hunger in their hearts, the fear they feel, and the aches in their limbs. Focus on that channel, and perhaps your world will try to afford some degree of respite to ours.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
So basically saying, like, think really hard about how hungry they are, and like how that's a product of the same imbalance that the army is producing and Muldark's presence is producing, and maybe your little plants will like have berries or some shit.
Yeah.
So basically,
you
you
feel
want
real bad about this situation.
Look-
Just
look-
go stare at some starving, thirsty children until your heart breaks in
essentially,
two.
Cord, look back at the sort of line that you've trodden and realize that if there was food, these people could survive, on that line of food, that bread line. They could survive.
We wouldn't need to go into dust. We wouldn't need to go into dust if you were producing food.
I mean, if you,
Cord, roll
if
me
you
an
just
Arcana.
fed this entire
That's
Alrighty.
Oh, God.
Arcana
That's
incoming.
You bought yourself inspiration.
Oh,
Roll
you
that shit
did. You did.
I do have inspiration. Okay. I bought myself inspiration. Yeah, right. Let me see. My Arcana skill. Oh my god. I'm at 2. How did that happen? Anyway, I don't have a roller. I guess I'm just gonna do it on here.
Oh, let me. Sorry, my bad.
It's alright.
Let me add in really quickly to skirmish dice bag, and everything is back in. There you go.
I've
See a
stolen.
dice bag. Top.
I see the dice bag. It is there. I'm gonna kick it. I'm gonna kick you right in the
What's
dice
up,
bag.
girlfriend?
I have inspiration. I have a 17. The perfect number.
Awesome.
Perfect
So-
number.
As I
Try
try
and
to.
give you with
Sorry?
your Feywield nature, essentially. So yeah, you as a Fey Touch do have a connection with the Feywield constantly, when at will, basically. So you can step into the Feywield at times. Previously, be able to find yourself so much as have conversations with other Fey Touched in the Feywield. So you try and commune once again with that other world, essentially. And as you do so, you can probably close your eyes or something just for a moment to get in touch with that, and you see basically you see a tree. You kind of flash in your mind. You see a tree which is like split down the middle, and broken and torn, and with like mutated weird flowers all over it, and it kind of flashes red in your mind, gives you a huge kind of spike of pain as you try and connect, and like you come back round after that brief moment, like feeling like sweating and panting, and whatever kind of connection that you have with the Feywield is somehow hugely out of touch. Now, your theory might be something to do with the fact that a planet crashed into Atonica, and you know that Atonica into the Feywield, and you know that the Weald and the Feywield are connected somehow. They are kind of mirrors of one another, but on different planes. And so, if there's a huge disturbance in one, there's a huge disturbance in the other. So that kind of you realise that there's a huge imbalance here.
Oh, in my head, it was almost like I was picturing the way you said, like that they're like a mirror image. In my head, it was like where is it Asgard like has crashed into sort of like the Broken Kingdom. On the flip side of things, in the Feywield, it's essentially like erupted out of the ground, as almost as if it's broken the boundaries. That was just like the coolest thing I just saw in my head. Yeah,
Maybe that has. Don't know.
So 17 on no berries, no berries.
no berries.
No berries.
Good berry.
No
Berry.
connection
Oh,
whatsoever.
why did I not take good berry? I could just.
The issue is that like a few berries is nowhere near enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably like an
Like,
hour or
can you-
two
A few
later.
berries per step would help, I think.
Yeah, it would help, but like to mean that we don't have to go to dust, we need to be selling like a full-on like coconut tree with every step,
A bushel.
a whole bushel of apples.
Oh, gosh.
I
So
Okay.
yeah, no cigar.
Well, it was
I
worth
was
trying.
deep in thought, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was something that
had
was
my
suggested
vision.
by Alex, and then Alex would like give you your space. He's not gonna be like, do it now, try it now. If I don't
Yeah,
do it,
yeah,
now,
yeah.
you can
It's
do it.
probably like a
give it
couple hours
days,
later. Yeah. He comes back and he goes, I've had my visions and I've meditated upon what you've spoken to me about. I've looked into the eyes of those who need it, and I tried to commune against my better judgment. And there seems to be a rift between. Maybe it's been so long. Maybe it's my training, but I cannot.
No, friend. It's nothing with you. Our world seems far detached from wherever it once was in the skies.
Well, that is what
Thank you for trying.
I'm trying to tell you. I don't think they are detached. The Feywield and the Weald aren't named this out of coincidence. You found me from where? The Weald. I have stumbled out of the Feywield. Somehow.
Kane's going to like trot over at this point, and he just says, I heard a story once. They used to tell it many centuries ago that inside every tree is a portal to the Feywield. I say, you don't need to find it. You're standing in it. It's just passing through to the other planes.
Yes.
Maybe he hasn't traveled so far, and whatever damage has been caused here has rippled across to the Feywield.
And your stories and your nursery rhymes bear fruit of truth. There is, in fact, just rifts split between windows, if you will, between the two planes. They've been cracked, though. Very hard to see through, some shattered. But if we can find a way, if we find a portal or some sort of rift that we could enter back into the Weald, maybe we can hide there and pass through this mirrored world to our destination. Just keeping
Commanders,
out of the eyes
and,
of the Satrap. And
You hear
their God King.
the gruff voice of Herbert like riding towards you, interrupting. He says, "The Baron wants you up front. Quick."
Oh damn.
Hold on, the Baron?
The Baron as in Garen?
Garen the Baron?
Baron Garen. Baron Stormforged, actually. I'll have you know.
Yeah,
that.
Alex.
Did you
is
say
gonna
Baron
give a
or
fucking-
Garen Stormforged? I didn't quite catch that.
If this
That
is
was the
Herbert
joke,
referencing
Josh.
Garen,
Yeah.
yeah, Alex is gonna just fucking give him a hand and say the Baron will wait another minute.
I
Yeah, he turns
I
and
ride up
fights
to the
back.
Baron because
Yeah, I'm expecting a Baron. But I finished my thought as we probably walked towards.
I have literally, I think every time, this might be like a day or a few hours at least into the journey, and like every time he's called me Baron, I have corrected him.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you can see,
Yeah,
Garen
we're
is
pretty
doing
odd.
his best to be very polite to this man, and it is wearing on his nerves.
Yeah, no, he's just he's such a soldier, you know. He's just like
He's
Yeah.
only
has
got
to rank
one,
everyone.
he's only got one setting, and that setting
Yeah.
is full on. My nose is up your ass. That's his setting.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
what-
he lets you do your thing. He just
Yeah.
he expects
Yeah,
you
he's-
to act as the Baron acts,
Yeah.
which he finds odd when you don't. So yeah, basically we'll
We're
say
sitting
it's
at
been like
24
a,
retweets, by the way. 24 retweets, guys. We just need
right.
one more for a crazy viewer decision where you guys can just suggest something in chat, and then everybody
Indeed.
will then vote for it, and then Will is going to put it in the game immediately.
And remember, guys, if you're sitting there at home and you have Twitter, don't think someone else will do it. Make
Yeah.
that someone you.
Yeah.
Be
You're
the
special
change you want to
person.
see
If
in
you
the
see
world.
something,
Yeah.
retweet it.
Be
Yeah.
the change.
Yeah. So
So,
what have
yeah,
I
it's
seen
been,
that I
like-
have summoned my friends?
It's been a few days. Been a few days traveling, we'll say, to speed things along.
Hmm.
Dust is on the horizon. This kind of a city made out of like sandstone. They've been walking through these dunes and desert, basically for the past few days. It's been very hot. Supplies are running low at this point, and everyone's been kind of like sweating in the sun. And you see up ahead there's a group of men coming towards you on what look to be at first horses, and you realise that there's only two legs to these things. They appear to be kind of reptilian mounts which they're riding towards them, and almost kind of bird-like creatures as well. Going towards you, probably about 5 of them. They come with a peace flag, and basically Herbert has kind of pointed towards them and said, "There must be envoys from Dust."
I definitely, if I like was here already and seen them, I have had someone. Actually, no, I've probably not had someone doing it. I'm not that used to commanding people yet. I've like grabbed some kind of bit of white cloth off my saddle and like strapped tight to the end of my staff, and I'm waving it back at them. Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
And at
yeah,
which
I'm not
point
used
we
to
hit
commanding people.
25 retweets on the Twitters.
Hello.
Let's go check everyone said that it is. Yeah, indeed we have. Congratulations, everybody.
Quick
So
bio.
that means, yeah, quick bio. Anyone needs to. But Gareth, Scott Star in chat, will draw a line under which you guys will
Bio
make
as well.
suggestions as to
I'll-
what. Just like, I can do one. Why not?
I'm guessing
Um,
whatever.
So what happens next, guys? There are a group of these Eastern Satrap guys coming towards them. So throw in some decisions. We only need 5. We need 5 of these decisions. We don't need a million, because otherwise the votes are all over the place. So 5, please, and the best ones will be taken. If yours isn't, don't feel too upset, because there will be another one at 35 retweets, and there'll be another one. We hit 2,400 followers. So once again, guys, whilst you're getting in these view decisions, whilst you guys take a quick bio break for a minute, remember, as Moldark is saying, hit that follow button if you haven't already. You gain 50 free gold to spend to gamble away in the dungeon of Moldark and to roll against him in a lovely dice game. So we are here 5 nights a week. We play D&D RPGs almost every single night now for 3 hours. I feel like for the Broken Kingdom games, we should even have. We could even go for 4 hours because we get so much kind of plotting and stuff happening,
Yeah.
which is great fun. Is there a theme for this one? Well, clearly there's a group of guys coming towards them. So probably themed around the riders, one would expect.
Or
So
something
yeah,
that
nothing
we
too
encounter
kind of-
entering into the famed city of dust that we've never been to.
Yep, nothing too absolutely insane. But yeah, there you go. And yeah, so once again, the 24-hour D&D stream, Saturday the 26th of March. Be sure not to miss it. So do follow if you haven't already. And join us in our adventure. We'll back and swing on Finbar. The banner of a fanged goat. I love it. It's a spy from the opposing army, mixed in the refugees. Nice. I like that one. Strong enemies via cliche anime video game trope. Nice one, Claude. So we have a Finbar.
We do. I've returned. Dramatic as ever.
So yeah, they are still a few minutes away. So as you guys ride up to see this happening, how do you guys react? What is happening in the command group, I guess?
Yeah. I kind of turn as I see as I hear them riding up. I just kind of nod and say, "How many roughly silhouettes do we see?"
You reckon around there are 10 of them going towards you.
Okay. Yeah. Captain, stay with the camp. Give me five of your men. We'll ride out to meet them away from the refugees.
So yes, sir.
Yeah. I kind of I nod at my friends and well, Alex, I hope your silver tongue hasn't rusted in the heat. We might need it.
He's going to very dryly say, "Wouldn't want to risk the lives of another batch of civilians."
Garen, I don't know. He's too driven to feel bad about it. He looks. I guess there's the tiniest flash of regret, but yeah, he's like, well, I said what I had to say to get things going. And yeah, rides out. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, we're in a desert, aren't we, Will?
We are.
Okay. Is it during the daytime by any chance?
Oh, buddy.
Yes, it is.
How
Okay.
do we not still have insane weather happening most of the time?
Insane weather is happening, yeah.
Yeah, but it's...
As you travel, there's sudden storms, suddenly there's rain, then there's fog, and then there's burning heat, then there's the sun is hotter than you've ever seen it, and then there's cloud back up again. Weather formations are very kind of sporadic and weird around here.
I'm curious because there's some seeds I want to plant for later. Which
I've
of you
already
guys
tried that. I'm sorry. I can't.
Stop
which of-
nagging me.
Which of you guys has the highest passive perception?
That would be me, just because I want to.
I have
say
8.
Yes. Haha.
It might be me actually, but I don't have my advantage.
I mean, I am proficient and I have +5 wisdom, so I have 8.
Oh yeah, okay.
What is it? 10 plus what?
It's 10
Skill?
plus your wisdom modifier plus your if you're proficient or not.
Proficiency.
Yeah.
I've
All right.
got
Yeah.
s-
Fucking 16.
So it would be 18 overall.
Yeah, so it's
Oh, 10
Garen
plus
is
wisdom plus
Deceptive Mother Hubbard.
Wait, what's your rank?
I think my passive perception is 18.
yeah, mine's 17, the perfect number.
Okay, and Cord?
Oh, mine's 16. There it is. Oh no, it's passive wisdom.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Let's just say it's 18.
Yeah,
with,
it's Gold Garen.
Actually, sorry, I am not proficient, so I'm only 15. My
Cool,
bad.
so 17, that's me.
Yeah, perfect number
Cool,
wins
so,
the vampire.
all right, Josh, you're going to notice, ever since Garen made that comment about Alex killing a bunch of civilians, potentially, we haven't confirmed yet,
Yeah.
potentially.
Oh, your faith,
we as
your faith
players-
in Will is misplaced, my friend.
We as players think that there's something far more terrible happening to those poor people. Us as
Agreed.
characters are like, they're dead. They're horribly dead. Oh my god, all our friends died.
Yeah.
Kane, you're going to notice that Alex, pretty consistently is, playing with his ring finger on his right hand, but, there's no ring there. But he's just, kind of rubbing where a ring would be on his wedding, or not his wedding finger, his right ring finger.
Ooh, interesting, cool.
So it's a bit of a, and this has been here since the first session, but I just didn't know when I wanted to start showing this tell for anxiety or distress, whatever. But that's
Cool.
that's the thing that he does now when he's really stressed. So as we start riding towards the riders, he starts rubbing it again, whatever. But again, you just see a hand.
Yeah, cool. I think that's quite nice because honestly, I think out of the party, Kane is probably closest to Alex, mainly because Alex has sort of he reckoned Alex as knew his true nature for quite a while and stuff. Yeah, so it's good. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. By the way, guys, the straw poll is up. So if you haven't voted yet, go ahead and do vote. You can see it there. Bunch of votes already in. It's looking
Very close.
It's looking very close. But we can get more votes. We have 21 votes, guys. You can go on.
Indeed.
Cool. Right. So, yeah, you guys start riding towards them. You see the group as they go closer. They are kind of riding these kind of bird-like creatures. The closer you get, they look less kind of reptilian and more bird-like. But they do have some kind of scales running down. They do have this beak and these two big eyes either side of their heads, and these kind of saddles upon which these riders are coming on. They have spears, but they're in like holsters, I guess. There's a proper word for that, probably. But they're not like spolsters. That's correct. Yeah.
Not wildcards.
Stone counts.
Yeah. What's up, mischievous? What's up, Dizzy? So yeah, you ride towards them. These 10 guys. You can tell that they're clearly from the Eastern Satrap from around here. They're wearing the colours of the God King Balashar and his kind of insignia, which is just like an iron fist. Very
Subtle
fitting
man.
for him. Yes. Well, he's not really a very subtle man at all. He's all about the obvious displays of power.
He's an overt kind of fella.
He is very overt.
You can say he's
yeah.
overcompensating, Will. We'll get it.
Perhaps he is. But the 10 of them ride towards you. They all appear to be human. And they all appear to not be slaves. Some of them are soldiers, and one of them appears to be their kind of leader riding in the centre, and off to the side is a strange-looking fellow, not from around here. You would place him just by his kind of skin tone and general kind of race look, I guess, to be from the Broken Kingdom somewhere. He appears to be more kind of, I guess, kind of Caucasian male than anything else.
It's not Hector,
And you don't recognise him to be Hector. He has. He appears to be kind of around 50 or so, sweating in the heat of the sun, and he has this kind of short-cropped, almost bald kind of hair, and he has a sword on one side. He doesn't have one of these spears, and he's wearing armor of. But yeah. Okay. So, reading secret things. Such secret. So, as yes, you guys go along. The person who recognizes this man is YOLO Swagger 9000 Yo. Thank you so much for following, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Welcome to the adventure. I hope you enjoy your stay. That is such a good name.
One of my 5 guards. So we've got our 5 guards behind us, and one of them is there, like, side slung, and backwards baseball cap, dollar signs mysteriously hovering above his head.
50 years old.
If you guys haven't followed, then join YOLO Swagger 9000 Yo and do so. So,
Swag
so yeah,
The swag wagon.
So, the one man who recognizes this is actually Algan. And I've put in the secret thing there, exactly how you remember him. But as I thanks to Scissorin for following, welcome to the adventure, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thank you so much for joining us tonight in this wonderful adventure. So, you get that chord?
Yep.
Cool.
Sure. Algan probably sees this gentleman and probably he grabs his hair and like undoes or like starts to ruffle it because like it's shaved on the sides and it's like combed over, like it's very long. He's got a tattoo on the side of his head, but he starts to ruffle it and start to like put some of it in his face. Like he starts to like as if he's like trying to just do his hair, but he starts to slowly, like if you guys are looking, he's trying to like cover his face and also maybe a couple strands to cover that tattoo he has.
I give a curious look to you, but don't say anything.
Yeah, the man coming towards you, he seems to be in the lead. Appears to be kind of fatter, I suppose. More rotund. He's got this kind of big beard, running all the way down to like his kind of chest, which is very kind of pointed. Which I guess the only person that might know this really would be Alex on that Nat 20 in history. The kind of fashion of the satrap, very much if you're a noble, is to have a beard very long and pointed, like so. Beards are all the rage at the moment. So, because the God King supposedly has one. And, yes, essentially anyone who wants to be in fashion just follows exactly what the God King looks like and wears, so yeah. This month he's wearing...
What's the God King wearing this month? Who are you wearing?
My
father.
Kim Jong.
Oh, okay.
So,
My enemies.
The man, appearing to be in the lead, kind of steps forward on this creature, and he says, "My name is Alari. I am an envoy of Chigaru Shalub. State your names and your purpose in the satrap."
I like look towards Alex and kind of like quirk an eyebrow. I guess the only eyebrow I have, because the other half of my face is fucked.
Alex will cross his arms.
Yeah, it's very long. And yeah, Garen like nudges his pony forward a couple steps. I guess it's not a pony, a horse, but yeah. Goes, I'm Garen Stormforged. These are my compatriots. I guess I rattle off like, I'm just going to say like, this is Algin, Kane Hollow, and Alex Talamis, of the Ironheart Mercenaries. We are escorting... how subtle?
Why'd you bring an army into our realms? This breaks our treaty.
Fleeing a
It's
bigger
an
one.
act of war.
It's not an act of war. We have no interest in staying. We want to get through this unpleasantly warm area and leave it to your wonderful people.
You dare
safe
insult
passage.
the Eastern Satrap further.
Kane,
You dare insult the God King even further by entering troops into his land and then insulting the sacred land that the God King himself has blessed.
Kane is
Alex-
going to ride at this point because he
Ride through them? Is that what you said?
No. He's going to ride like up, so he's next to Garen and try
Sounds of creaking wood from Karen's like hand around the staff. It's like,
I just say, you honor us with your hospitality, may I just say, and I would like to state that we do not bring men willingly here, rather that we have no alternative choice. We bring warning of an ancient evil that marches upon the God King's lands.
Alex is going to smile slightly to himself with his head down a little bit before sort
Kane's
of like...
talking about himself, actually.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm here.
hey buddies.
Alex, like, over the shoulder of these two, he's going to like smirk a little bit, knowing slightly how diplomacy is supposed to work for these like gluttonous Eastern Satrap folk. And he's just going to just like contribute. He's going to add. He's not like challenging or sort of saying anything aside from what they've just presented, but he's just going to add. We bring paid homage for each head that moves through your kingdom, Charkeesian port. Half a quart for every one of our men.
Speaking of Alex, thanks so much to Alex Smash for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thank you for joining our adventure today. Join Alex, anyone else that's watching that isn't following, and
Very
join us in our-
unsubtly, Garen will turn towards Alex and kind of put his arms out and in the universal.
And say, "Thanks for
so
following."
hard.
By the way, the old man appears to just be staring at Algan. Like he's just barely blinking. He's just like looking at you with his like dead face.
Yeah, I've got my
Can I
head
roll-
probably slightly bowed down, but staring at him.
I'm gonna roll an insight just to see if I can suss out what the juju is
the
going on
hell?
here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, is he
It's very
hitting on
obvious.
him? Is he, you know?
Can I
Super
say
interested.
They're like their leader guy, the one who's talking, basically.
Yeah.
I want to try and gather whether he's just a pompous ass or whether like I need to actually be concerned about anything.
Yeah, see how he responded to like the offer of like really expensive Charkesian port, given that Chark is like the luxurious city.
Oh shit.
26.
26. Yeah, you can tell that he's kind of
Speaking
putting
of the
on front, but
26.
yeah, speaking of 26, 24-hour D&D stream.
Hey.
Happening there. Good segment.
Shameless.
But yeah, so on a 26, you can tell that whilst he's kind of still putting on his front, like the offer of that very expensive wine does appeal to his sense of greed, I guess. And Kane, what did you roll?
I rolled a nat 1 for my insight check into this guy to see.
Yeah, they're probably lovers or something. No, you don't read the situation whatsoever.
I imagine like he's just like completely lost in thought. Like, you know, when you realise suddenly you're like, I've been staring at someone really intensely because I've been lost in thought. I'm just like, oh, he's obviously not. He's obviously untrained and not paying attention.
The heat's getting to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Alari says, that is a fine offer, I suppose. Show me this wine.
Alex will pull out a wineskin that he keeps on his hip, and he'll sort of courteously sort of give a half bow and extend it sort of in two hands up to this man.
Yeah, he takes it to his lips. And he hands it, and then like he thinks about handing it back to you, and he's like, some more.
Yeah, so Alex is fully aware that he does not have like 800 wineskins of Charkesian port. He just has his one personal one. But we'll go with this for now. But that is legit Charkesian port, we'll say, that was on his hip.
I think the other three of us are very used to you're like, okay, I'm just going to make promises I can't hope to keep and eventually say enough words that we get out of the situation.
Yeah, he says, you will not find any refuge in dust.
We don't seek it.
Don't need refuge, friend, just to purchase some bread, water, potentially a night's rest. We'll be moving on. Most of our men will stay out here in the old ruins. We'll just bring a wagon or...
enough
Your
to
men
carry.
will not stay within the Satrap.
Fine by us. They can head as far west as they can.
Why do I speak to this mongrel? Where is the Baron?
The Baron is...
there's a big fucking grin on Garen's face.
Garen's like built like a brick shithouse, but like Kane's more subtly strong. He doesn't like have that. He's got quite a live physique.
He's wiry.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
It's
wiry.
more like,
Oh my god, I make that reference all the time and no one gets it.
I know.
Jeez.
Do we just become best friends?
Oh my god, we did.
So yeah, I reach out and I put like what looks like almost like a gentle like a reassuring hand, but like I'm like crushing Garen's arm, which probably doesn't hurt Garen in any way because he's ripped. But
It's definitely. I feel you are a vampire, so I feel pressure through like the chainmail.
Oh yeah.
I'm
But
still wearing.
Yeah, I'm just like the Baron did not send us. The Baron himself is currently dealing with things that are occurring up north, things that might be of interest to your leaders, but for now we come simply for trade. I hear the dust is...
I do not bargain with slaves.
Do you see any shackles on us?
The audible like jaw click.
Do you see
He certainly
any
says that in a
shackles
tone
on me?
that he thinks that you are slaves.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, if you see shackles on me, please point them out. They must.
Yeah, he spits on the floor. We are done here. Goodbye. He turns to leave.
Alex is gonna. Okay, so he turns. Will, you said he turns.
Yeah.
Card played. Okay, so he turns slightly. When he turns, Alex, hopefully not needing to roll a sleight of hand check because the guy's not facing us. Alex is gonna like step in front of Garen, pluck the seal, saying that he's the Baron out of his waist because clearly he doesn't know how to use the piece of paper. Step forward.
Keep telling me to shut up.
In all fairness, he's not the negotiator.
I would have shoved this thing so far down this guy's throat if I had that opportunity. But I was like, my vampire friend was like, no, buddy, I've got this. Blair. It's like,
Algan,
great.
probably this time during like when he was like, "Where's your baron?" Blah blah blah. He probably still not breaking eye contact with this gentleman that he seems to recognize. Still, I guess probably here he still has his spear out, and he has his spear out, and he's been using it as like a walking stick this whole time. But he walks over towards, and just like on the other side of where like Kane was holding his shoulder, I'm probably opposite side, and I just lean up against the spear, still staring at that guy, still staring at him, and I probably draw something in the sand that no one really recognizes at first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as the guy turns his back, Alex is going to be like, fuck, all right, and he's going to, like, step in front of Garen, pluck this piece of paper out of his belt or his satchel or wherever it is. What was this guy's name, Will? He introduced himself by name.
His name is Alari.
Will, I'm going to put your GM on the spot. Give me a welcome or greeting that is, like, colloquial among the Eastern Satrap.
It's the shalom of the
God
Like
King
a
bless you.
well-met.
Yeah, God King bless you.
Jub, jub.
Jub, jub.
That's his safe word. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, Alex will step forward and say, God King bless you, Larry. I apologize for the behavior of my servants. It's always hard to tell when dealing with new emissaries from the city. I haven't myself been to visit your good Shigeru Shalub's town of dust yet myself in person. I hope you take the generous mouthful of Charcusian port as a sign of good faith, and you'll see here no inconsistencies or problems among my papers sent direct from Baron Oxenhold. And he'll sort of gesture to the sign that sort of gives me the authority to like speak on behalf of the Baron.
my name on it.
He turns over and
I haven't told him what my name is yet, so like he thinks I'm Garen.
I literally pointed at you and called you Alex.
Yeah.
Did
Yes.
You did call it Alex Salam.
I introduced everybody. Hey,
So he takes it and he says, Mr. Galen Stormforge.
I turn to Alex, and I'm gonna catch this and try and save this, and I turn and I just say, Garen.
Oh my God! What happened? Oh my God, guys! Sorry, hold on. What happened to my Skype? Let me fix that. Trying to get rid of Discord, and I fucking did that. All right, hold on. It's coming back. Everything's gonna be fixed. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Sorry about that. Hello. Sorry. Don't know where everybody else is.
I hear the voice.
All right. I hate Skype because I don't understand how I can get into calls again. Fuck. All right, I have to quit my Skype and start it back up here because it's bugged. Not sure what happened. It likes to break things. Yeah, that's true. Let's get this loaded. I can't. Hello? I hate Skype so much. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Alright, I hear one. I hear
Oh.
two.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello? Yes.
Will is not around. Will, hello? Josh, I don't know what
I'm
happened with Josh's thing.
so confused right now.
Hello?
Okay, my face is there.
Yeah, your face is there. Everybody's face is around. I don't see
I can only
the
hear
Mitch
you.
cam. I don't see Mitch anymore. Like, I hate Skype because like everything
Everything is the worst.
everything
All
is
right.
the worst. All right, there's a Mitch. I don't know where Will is. See, look at that. What happened? What the hell happened? Alright, I hate this program, and I'm putting my foot down. We are not using Skype anymore. We can't do it today, though. We have to finish this call. But, alright, so I'm gonna call them up, get this to work. Hello, who's here? Mitch?
I
Will.
pushed a button.
We're back.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
need
Place.
for Josh.
Mitch, put on your camera room.
And,
Yep.
sorry about that. My
I
internet was...
think our
was
Skype
getting-
broke up or something, because ours was all fine, and then for some reason he left. I don't know. Who knows?
No, that was my fault. I was getting rid of Discord. Like
Oh.
that right there. Hello.
Yeah, Josh is now trying to, I think, call in.
This is what I fucking hate about Skype. I can't do anything
I think what?
because we. All right, here's Josh.
There we
Here's
go.
Will.
I'm back.
Good God.
Ah. This is why we're getting Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I just said. I was like, I'm putting my foot down. We're getting it. I don't like this is ridiculous. Every stream we have now, we're getting issues. Not even the fact that it canceled. I should have, in theory, because I closed it on accident, should have just gone back and into the call, but I can't because of the fuckery of connection between whatever. And right now, everybody's cam is black or like dark. Oh god.
Apparently we need
it's so
Skype
annoying.
Premium to make a group video call.
There is no Skype.
Yeah, that's not the
Alright,
thing.
Josh is back.
We're down a Mitch
So,
still.
so the problem appears to be when someone
Alright.
calls.
Yeah, I think it's basically once a call fails in a weird way, remaking the calls seems to... Basically, Myth and Cord just don't seem to want... No, not Myth and Cord. Myth and Cord's the same person.
Yep.
Josh and Cord don't want to be in the same call together. At least their Skypes don't.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's what it says. Yeah.
Basically, that
Alright.
was it seemed to be able to form a call with the others of you, and now that they're together, Mitch is repelled by them.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is what it doesn't make
Mitch is a
sense.
homophobe.
It's awful.
Yeah, Mitch has got an error. He's restarting Skype. So.
Okay. All right. So sorry about that.
Yes.
My the internet was going and I was like frantically trying to get internets back, but we're good now. Except we're still waiting for Mitch. Sorry about that, chat. I have let you down.
Adding.
Skype, an error
Now.
occurred when you last exited. Would you like to report? Oh my god.
I think we just need a new call
Okay.
because this one's dark.
All right.
So no one.
No one call.
Cord.
I'll start the
Okay,
call.
I'm going
You
to
got
hang
it.
up now.
All right. Give it a minute. Gonna take a breather. And now I'm gonna call everybody. Hopefully Mitch is back in. Hello.
Hello,
One.
I'm here. Oh, I
Alright,
hear the
there's
sounds
a
of
Mitch.
Mitch.
Whoop.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
There's a Will.
All right. There we go.
All right.
I
now
just
we
got a
need Josh.
notification that says Josh Mann was unable to join this call as they need to update their Skype first, or they are set to offline.
Bye.
I don't know if you
Alright.
guys saw that as well, but just in case.
I'll try and add him in.
All right. Yep. Let's continue as best we can without Josh for a moment. Guess we'll wait for a second. So, I'm also working on getting a Josh back into the call and potentially trying to update his Skype. You guys are. Go ahead, Mitch.
Yeah, so Josh just tried to breeze past the fact that the paper gives authority to Garen Stormforged. I've been introduced out, so he was like, "Oh, Garen, are you sure that this is safe?" And then the guy kind of seemed to believe the fib, but then was subsequently upset that we were distrusting. So Alex will take out his very
XP is overrated. Just donated £12. There's
Ow.
1 month of Zoom. ... Thank you so much.
Hey.
Thank you
No
so much.
fucking shit, eh? My God.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, my friend. Thank you. It really means a lot. We were gonna
tis
get
on our
anyway,
radar.
but thank you.
Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna step in here because I'm obviously also occurring around me of caning. So I'm just gonna grab Kane by the shoulder after he's let go of mine, slam him back into his horse, and go, "Let's let the boss work this one out."
Yeah, so Alex will take out his very valuable sort of water skin of or wine skin of Charkesian port, open it up again, present it with another sort of courteous bow, sort of appealing to this guy's midsection, and say, humble apologies, sir. You'll understand that my indentured man is not so used to dealing with respectable freemen, folk of our ilk. Take another mouthful, if you will. So, kind of implying that Josh is a slave. Not sure if Josh is smart enough to realize yet, but we're doing our best.
Yeah.
Algan reacts. Or doesn't really react, but he chimes in and says, "Oh, my mic is really low." He chimes in and says, still staring at this man that no one really knows, just this other guy, and he goes, "Kunar, he's under my watch."
Okay.
Alex has less than half a second being like, what in the fuck? And just like does a break that like he's in the middle of a charade, so like doesn't... Yeah. I thought we met this guy in the woods and he like birthed out of a tree. How the fuck does he know anybody? So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you found me at
Yeah.
a clandestine camp.
Yeah, we pulled him
Oh,
off like a
okay.
cross, a torture device, didn't we?
Okay. I mean, you mentioned walking out of trees enough and having been from the Weald and...
Yeah, the guy like raises his eyebrow essentially when you say that. Yeah.
But yeah, so offering this port back to Alari for the insult of my indentured man.
Yeah, he takes it and takes another drink. You are forgiven. Oh,
Yeah,
cameras are
like-
that's nice.
Audible, like heavy like. The sand beneath the boat, like my horse's feet, is moving with the force of like Garen's frustrated exhales. I think at this stage.
So how many men are there, Will?
10 of them. So
10? Okay. So Alex is going to gesture to Garen and say, my man Alex here will take 3 or 4 of your men to find where the rest of that port is buried. It's not my first time traveling through heavily taxed lands. There are bandits about. We don't travel with such precious nectars on our back, as I'm sure you can understand. They can take you to the rest of these wineskins, and then you, hopefully, good sir, can lead us into the city. As I said, we concede our men, our refugees, will pass through in all haste. They will not come with us. We'll bring only a wagon.
sure. Roll me a persuasion check.
Sure. 'Tis what I do. 24, baby.
Alright then, on a 24 he nods kind of slowly and he's like, I will allow this if you make sure your troops are off our land very quickly.
He will, Alex will ask, what's the fastest any of your men have ridden from here to wherever like the border is on the other side of the mountains?
Sure. Let's have a look on this map. So yeah, he said they could be there within a day.
Then Alex will sort of bow respectfully and say, given that even our best riders can't compare to those of your stock, 2.5 days, 3 days, we'll be out. So like trying to buy more time by acknowledging that like you're so much better than us.
Yeah, we're so lost in this desert. We need big, strong men to help us.
Yeah.
It's good.
He
It's good.
says,
I like it.
yeah, he nods, and he says, very well. Will you be joining us in dust for some food?
Alex will nod and say he looks forward to see whatever luxuries you plan to pair with our banquet of Charkesian.
And he smiles and says, come then, join us.
So Alex will turn to Garen and say, Alex,
Yep.
Alex, you'll take 5 of Herbert's men to help carry. We wouldn't want any of the Eastern Satrap men to carry any of this port. It's not their burden to bear till it arrives in the city. You'll take 5 of Herbert's men, lead these however many. I guess I asked Alari to send like 4 of his 10. You'll take Alari's men to where the port is buried, and you will. Garen, I'll let you decide what this is. I imagine we have a code word for like fucking kill all of them, or like a code word for Garen at least to be like fucking lightning and thunder and shit. Basically, I'm saying like, cool. I just split this 10 into 2 smaller groups. You kill one of the groups, and we'll kill the other group.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
So he's like, oh, hey, take a couple of Herbert's men if you need them, but like take these 4 buttheads, go get the wine, and make sure you like bring down the hammer. Is what he's going to say, really subtly.
Yeah, I think we're discussing that we needed one of these terms in the last session anyway.
We need a bunch of terms.
I think for literally this like we have one for the
last time. How do we just like get the fuck out of here? That was like
it's Garen has put his foot in it. What's the GTFO code word? And this is the divide and conquer code word.
Yeah, so like let's say like chat's hamster says the code word is Jenga for divide and conquer. We're at Jenga. You sort of given the instructions of move through. Take them to where the port is, and then when he like bows to say goodbye, because I just assume that Alari doesn't.
There's no cams and can't see anything.
Yeah, I can hear you. I just can't see the display.
Right,
of
start new
cams.
call. I will host this new call.
All right.
Nobody call.
Sorry, guys. This won't happen again, I promise. Because we will have a new program to help us out. Alright, so here's Will calling me. Alright, hello.
Alright, I'll set a new call entirely. Let's add these guys in.
Hopefully they'll be all their cam slots, but probably not.
Yeah, if not, they'll be able to, easy to move around.
Yeah. I just...
Is this the Will call?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Giant Will.
Oh yeah, huge Will, yep. It's the hair, look at that.
I'm devouring the world with my fluff.
Godzilla Will. My suggestion was, Alex, you could suggest like to either me or Kane as your servant, and while you're on the way back, fetch me my Jenga pieces. I wish to play a game this evening, or something along that line.
Something like that. Yeah. Perfect.
Cool.
It's for Garen and potentially 5 of Herbert's strong men for the purpose of carrying port that is nowhere buried anywhere, to take them behind a rock, kill 4 of them, and then hopefully with Kane and Algan and Herbert himself's help, we can actually kill Alari and his 3, because Alex has no concern for anyone involved with the God King's politics.
Alright, we have everyone.
Oh my god, roll back. Sorry about that. Here we go.
Victory!
We have beat Skype. For now.
You win. You win.
You'll win this time. Alright then. So, run me over the past 5 minutes. I haven't really been paying attention.
All good. So we were talking to sort of appealing to this guy's gourd, saying, this is the sample you've tried that we do in fact have Charkesian port, some of the most expensive wine. I said there was like half a glass for every head. There's like 3,000, 4,000 of us. So it's like thousands and thousands of gold worth of crates of this wine. But I convinced him that, like, of course I wouldn't just walk around with that on a wagon because there's bandits here and yada, yada, yada. So, like, it's buried somewhere safe. And Garen, who I'm calling Alex because of the name swap, Garen is going to take 4 of Alari's 10 men to go where it's buried, which is nowhere. And I've given Garen the code word to just fucking kill them once they're at a site. And hopefully by splitting the group now, Alex plus Algan plus Kane will be able to kill Alari and his others now that I've just like split the group, because Alex has no interest in actually pretending that they're here on any official whatever once he gets into the city.
Cool. So he's going to Alari's basically sends off 4 of his riders to perform this target and sends 4 of them off. He says the rest of us will return to dust.
So am I headed off with those lot to go assist?
Yep.
Fabulous.
Take them to where we buried the stuff.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Is anyone going with him?
Yeah, so Garen plus 4 of Herbert's, or 5 of Herbert's men are going.
Okay. I was gonna say
I
was gonna say you're not just sending him on his. I was like, fuck, he's gonna die. Cool. Okay.
No. It's like Garen.
Yeah. No. I get it.
And then we have to kill
have
this
an ability that I haven't been able to use until now, and I'm very excited.
Alright then, so let's go with the group go back to dust for now. So everyone but Garen, essentially. And basically, Karan, the older guy, like, starts riding alongside Algan, and he's going to motion for you guys to kind of ride away from the party. At called.
Yeah, he wants us. He wants
Okay.
everybody else to go away and us to hang out.
Yeah, he wants
Yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of lead you away for a bit on the journey back to us, which is just a few 10 minutes back to get
Oh,
to
this
the
is
city.
going to be so good.
Yeah, Karan, he kind of turns to you. This old guy kind of sweating in the heat, and he says, "What news?"
Sorry, cam's blurry. He is.
He apologizes.
Sorry, my cam's blurry. That's my that's the news. He says. Algan goes. He's gaining strength. Just the other day, a storm erupted from the clouds, leveled an entire city. I tried to stop him, but I couldn't.
And he says, "We must be watchful. The
Yes.
stronger he grows, the worse our situation."
The stronger he goes, the more it influences me. Have you not noticed this? And I like kick my stirrup, and then like a vine sprouts from like the horse.
Yeah. Yeah, he nods. he nods, and he says, "Keep a close eye."
They think I'm a prisoner, but my training is complete. I will show you the way.
So like I don't want to interrupt like the sweet bro moment, but if we're 10 minutes out of the city, now that like the minute Garen and 4 of the riders are out of sight, Alex is going to start the fight and like try and kill Alari and these 5 other
Yes.
riders.
Right, so
Oh.
I'm confused for a second. So Alari is heading straight back to Dust, which is like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
But like he
It
invited
looks-
us to like some banquet, so the plan was like, cool, like we'll ride in with you into town, and we'll send one of our slaves with your slaves to go get all the
Yeah.
wine, and then we'll all have a party. So like we're riding with Alari and his 5. Like I don't want anyone in
Yeah.
Dust to know that we've entered Dust, so I want to kill every one of these riders before we get to the city.
Okay, you're within like sight of the city. Is the only thing with that plan.
Ah, fuck. Okay, then we'll
You're
kill
going to
them
be
in
10
the
minutes
banquet.
away, like on these
Yeah, you,
desert, basically.
you just have to shake them once you're in the city itself.
Okay. Yeah.
You've got
okay.
you've
So
got
we'll-
the length
we'll-
of time it would take this ride, excavation, and ride to the city to come up with
okay.
something.
So we'll get to the city, and if we can just like get them in like a closed room for like the banquet, we can kill them at the banquet. Okay.
Kunar,
Okay.
Yes.
what is your allegiance with these? He, like gestures with his spear tip to like the others that he rode with.
Yeah, he says, "None whatsoever. I'm here watching, waiting. We thought you might arrive here."
Well, be like the vulture. Wait. Wait until the grim events, and then we can discuss after. Watch from afar. Circle ahead if you need. Circle above in the clouds if you'd like. If you get my drift. But
No one understands you, Algan. You're a fucking weirdo.
I
there will be graves in the sand today for these men.
You know,
Yeah, I'm sure Alvin like would have heard my not subtle among our group like instruction to Garrett to like kill them. So like you're
Oh, yeah.
aware of our plan. Yeah.
Yes, so we've established, I believe, as a team that our word for our divide and conquer keyword, code word, is Jenga. So if the word Jenga is uttered, that means that, right, you're going to take that lot off and murder the shit out of them.
Which actually is undercommon
Oh.
for toppling
What's-
tower.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
Yes.
yeah, indeed. Real quick, what's like shit is like hit the fan, attack everyone, and like defend only our own? What's that phrase? Because like I know plenty. Like one of my favorite ones is like
that one's Scrabble.
Did you know that sparrows? Yeah, sparrow. Did you know sparrows fly south for winter? It's like, oh, that's interesting. Murder, 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 murder. Yeah. So we we need like a phrase we can utter that we.
I think
Yeah,
we
we'll
need to
come
work
up-
on a
we'll
phrase
come
book.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely need a phrase book. We'll put that together for sure. Because we need one for like everyone just run and don't fight anything as well. Just like get the fuck out of here and meet last place we were.
We,
Whatever.
we need one to basically say, like, if someone walks into a room and we're like, everything's fine, we need a way to say, everything is not fine. I have a crossbow level
Yeah.
on my face. There's a ballista behind the door. Help.
This is a situation we need to not be in.
All right, we'll
Okay.
get to that in a bit. You see, Karan kind of turns and starts riding backwards.
Riding backwards, that's
He starts
impressive.
just going back.
Oh,
he
oh.
turns around and goes. I guess you can rejoin the rest of
Oh,
the
he
guys.
turns and leaves. Got it. Okay. This is like,
turns and
wait.
leaves.
How
He
did he train the horse to do that?
It's very clever. Yeah.
My training's done too, and he just like trots. He's actually just a performer. The backstory of Algan is just like a horse performer, just like trotting fancy trots.
He
First
competes
watching
in
Whip.
professional dressage.
Yeah.
Yes. Alright then, so, yeah, you guys continue on into Dust. And so,
Yeah, the plan is to just sort of like small talk Alari, just like talk up what this banquet's going to be very deferential of like, oh, I can't even fathom the spread of fruits and exotic meats and yada yada yada, all that shit.
blah 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 blah. So you come into Dust itself. It looks like a very kind of poor area. You see like lines and lines of slaves working away here, and in the town itself, it is indeed very dusty. There is sand kind of everywhere, and you have to kind of keep an eye up to keep all the dust which is moved from these great burdens of beasts, which are like building structures here, and from the slaves themselves. And so you come up into richer areas, so as Alari kind of rides, and you're riding down anyone that gets in the way, so the slaves are just kind of like running away, but like, there are times where there are probably people crushed underneath the hooves, or underneath the claws of these bird-like creatures.
Probably a good thing I'm not there.
As we enter into like the richer section, I guess because we brought one wagon, or like a cart or something, I would say to Kane, I guess, because Algan has some weird connection that I have no idea what's going on, and I need to talk to him before anything else happens.
Yeah.
So he'll gesture to Kane to be like, and again, he's like performing the whole "you're my slave" bit, so no disrespect, of course.
Yeah. Oh, Kane.
He'll say-
Kane. Is
Yeah,
like,
Kane's
so
trapped.
far on that.
So yeah, Alex will sort of like throw over his shoulder to Kane. Bread and water for the meat. You know how it is. We don't want them to get too fat, but they need to make it across the desert. And he'll gesture to the wagon, and then say, "Wait outside when you meet us at." And then he'll look to Alari. And where is your fine hall where we will be having this feast?
This way, come. And he leads you up into basically what's a small palace.
Okay, so like I'll gesture to the palace, that basically say like to Kane, whatever. And then when we develop our
Yeah,
code,
I like Kane.
Yeah. He'll say something
It'll
about
be
like,
whatever.
everything's
Kane,
not all great.
Yeah,
He'll
Kane gives
describe the banquet is going to be so not great. So make sure you don't miss it. It's like go get the supplies, send them out of town, and then like come for the great banquet.
Yeah, cool. Kane gives like a very deferential bow. He sort of like swoops low on his horse and he just says, "As you will, my lord." And he turns and sort of going to take the cart and probably like on his own. Like there's no need to really like. It's going to be easier for him to like sneak out without any sort of additional guards and stuff. So he's just going to do that and he's going to vanish towards the marketplace with I guess some money, some of their treasury's money to actually purchase these supplies.
All right then.
So I guess it's Algan and I who are actually going into this banquet together for when it starts, and then Kane will probably meet us up the next closest, and then hopefully Garen will meet shortly after, I guess is the timeline, which would be ideal.
Cool. All right. So, you guys head inside, and let's cut back to Garen, Stormforged. So, Garen.
Hook 'em up.
Yeah. So I guess like we've circled back towards the column, and like my men have picked up some like shovels and stuff like that. I think I hang back with these men because I don't trust myself to be like subtle enough to pull this off. So I just kind of send the 5 minutes like, go find the captain. Inform him we'll be requiring. Tell me money for the supplies soon. I'm sorry, I'm talking. Garen's talking too posh. Tell me money for the supplies soon. Kane will probably be here for asking for it. Get us some shovels so we can go unearth this wine. I kind of just nod at them and like ask me no goddamn questions right now.
Yeah, they go and follow you as so much. You know, they're none the wiser as to this kind of the deception here. They've just been told to follow their task, and so they're following your kind of instructions so far. So yeah.
Yeah,
Go
so
get
I
some shovels.
send them off to do that, and then so I guess we kind of return with the shovels, and we move down the way. I move like nice and far out of. I attempt to move out of sight of the caravan a bit, like kind of off into the desert proper, away from the mountains. And I guess I'm trying to make some like bollocks thing as we arrive at some point of like, yes, that dune there looks familiar. Men, go unearth it. And I'm trying to pick a point that's a little bit of a distance away, like maybe 60 feet, so give or take. So I'll just kind of like go over there and unearth.
Sure.
And yeah, like I'm hovering over to the side of these, like, I presume they're kind of like riding as a little cluster group, and we're riding as a little cluster group, just kind of near each other.
Sure. They kind of come over on their bright creatures, start digging up this site where you say.
Oh yeah, well I'm sending my men over to do that, and I'm like,
Gotcha.
Gentlemen,
Okay.
my men will take care of it. Just rest your beasts. And then I'm going to like dismount.
Suddenly,
Move a couple, like, I just kind of like twirl my staff almost absent-mindedly, and I'm gonna try and move as many of them into a nice straight line as possible from like my angle.
Yeah, you go into a line just from where you are. I guess they're just kind of standing there,
Fabulous.
kind of waiting in the sun.
Yeah.
What's
So
up,
I think
Ryan?
like there's this like snap as the wood like hits like inside of my hand as I like grab it still. And you see, like, because it's all this, like, silvery, like, lightning-blasted wood, and you see, like, the twigs and stuff at the top start to unfurl. Like, it opens up almost like a flowering plant. And there's this core of, like, flickering lightning in the middle of it, and I'm going to use the ability of my Staff of Thunder and Lightning, known as Lightning Strike. And I'm going to throw a 5-foot wide and 120-foot lightning bolt at these bitches.
Nice.
They all need to make a DC 17 Dex saving throw.
Perfect number. Alright then, DC 17. Dex saving throw, is it?
Yes.
Alright, I'm not very dexterous on these birds. They rolled an 18, however.
Okay.
Rolled a 19, so mine's rolled an 18.
Okay. In which case, yeah, so the next thing that does happen though is just let me work out exactly the words here. It's yeah, but the lightning like starts to flicker, and I like swing the staff around and point at them, and I guess they all look and like start diving, and Garen screams top of his voice. It's like, by the will of Iron Ore, all be smoten upon this blasted land, and I will use my I will invoke the power of divinity, channel the will of chaos itself through my body to maximize the 96 of damage into 54. Which is then halved by them having a successful save, so 27 damage each.
Jeez.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, 20.
Pop them like zits.
Like it's hot.
Horrible metaphor. Horrible metaphor.
Um,
Well, they're going to be horrific, blasted, pus-oozing corpses after this, after
Very
I'm
true.
done with them.
So, yeah.
I feel it's
27 damage basically blew up these. Well, you can describe exactly
How
how much
many?
lightning bolts
Yeah.
and how it destroys people.
So there was 5 of them and their
Oh.
creatures.
Yeah.
So imagine like maybe one of their creatures like crawling away like a burnt leg, and there's just this like. I think I step forward and like as I like walk, and maybe the camera angle is just like on Garen's boots as he steps forward and then like hits this like blackened edge of sand, and you hear like the crunching of glass underneath his feet where the lightning hit, and there's just like nothing left of these guys. And he walks up to this like dying beast, kind of pulls a dagger out, and it's like covers its face and ends its suffering. And it's like, men, we return to the
They'll
column.
pop their heads up from digging.
It's like I flick the the staff, and like the wood kind of refurls around the like now duller lightning core, and it's like, we return to the column. Tell the captain what's happened here, and tell him we may soon need to make a very hasty retreat.
Yes, sir.
I ride to dust. And yeah. Murder! Finally got to use that ability. I've been so excited.
I imagine like we're in the fucking desert, right?
Yes.
So I feel like off in the horizon we would see a flash from where we are.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, it's probably to like tie us back into like to just like transition the scenes here. Like a flash happens, and then like you just see the back of Algin's head as he's looking off into the distance with Kunar,
Kanar.
as like they were talking, and they look off into the distance and they look at each other, and then like Algin raises his eyebrows knowingly as Kunar kind of like looks a little worried, and like probably back to the party.
Yeah. Cool. So that happens. Garen starts going towards dust.
Yeah.
So
Imagine my horse needs like a minute of like calming. It's just big. Eviscerated walking. It's like, yeah, and then yes, riding hell to leather to catch up.
yeah. All right. And so back to these guys. You find yourself in a palace. It's very, very nice in here. Possibly the nicest place any of you have ever stayed. Or kind of seen before. Huge platters of food, wine set out and stuff like this. It's not a good wine though, it's not like Sharkian wine, so that's what I really want. But there is nonetheless food and drink here. There are guards stationed around the place, but for the most part, Alari kind of takes a seat on a big, one of these tables, says, "Everybody eats, drink." He's clearly quite tired and like sweaty from the journey back on all these creatures.
Alex will, hopefully, again, not having interacted or ever having been to dust, but just having interacted with people who are slave owners.
Yeah.
But he's never interacted with this particular breed or brand of slave owner. He will, take command to try and show that, he should be here in the first place, and just, order one of Alari's slaves to bring a decanter, and he'll, get out his wine skin, hoping that, it's okay that slave owners can gesture if we're all here for dinner, oh, you're clearly not one of us, go get me a thing, I need a thing.
Sure, yeah. One of the slaves will just go and get you things. You are guests, so pretty much there are slaves coming to give you food and stuff like that, and drinks, and then they obey whatever commands. Alari doesn't seem to be find this weird,
Okay, good. And then, what am I going to make up?
So tell me of your lands.
Which lands, friend? I travel quite a bit.
Where do you hail from?
More recently, I've been living with the Ox in his somewhat, I will say, less civilized.
Yes, and yet he gives you power. He has forfeited his baronhood.
As
And
many
he,
of,
he leans forwards and staples his fingers. He says, "So why is the baron so weak?"
Alex will smile and say, "Well, as your righteous god king has long predicted, the Ox hasn't always been all the strength he's purported to have, and he seems to have troubles with a small band of orcs at the moment. Not my place to judge or assess how he handles his hold, but I did say I'd help some of his peasants get out before